In true Master Moldy fashion, I have been completely muted for the whole intro. As I was saying, I am starting this. Hopefully, you can hear me now. Starting this 8 minutes early. It's no longer Halloween. We are into November, which means the Christmas decorations are out. Hot chocolate in hand and muted. As I start most recording sessions here on the channel, if I had £1 for every time I tried to record a video and my mic was muted, or very rarely on the odd occasion, not even plugged in, I haven't even got it out, started recording, realized too late, and there are still quite a few videos that are posted with the audio. Seems to be working now with the audio just coming from my phone or another device. The worst one is my buds. The Samsung buds are really good listening to things, slight delay because they are Bluetooth, but when you're recording audio through them, they're not really that good. But I hope everyone's having a lovely Monday morning. Again, starting a bit early, about 8 minutes, although you wouldn't have heard me at the start. Today, we are building every animal I saw over the weekend at a zoo. I can't remember the exact name of the zoo, but I will probably have a little advertisement. I'm not sure if that's the right word. I stopped myself there. Yeah, I'll probably have a little, I guess it's an advertisement at the start of the video. And I've got a bunch of images up. I did want to set up a few things which I'm going to be working on for next week. So I think I'll get that out of the way. First off, I do have another camera. So I'm trying to set up a close cam so you can actually see what I'm building, because most of the screen is taken up with Christmas decorations. But hopefully we can get that sorted for next week. I can put a few of these images up on screen later on just so we can compare it. But tomorrow's video, rather than being just a stream highlight and a cut of this stream, as the streams are seemingly more popular than the stream highlights, I think what I'll do is a more structured video showing off what we've built today, and perhaps that'll be better for people that have tuned in to these streams. Because again, last week we got, I don't know if I can see, but we got pretty much the same as the week before. I know the week before we got 50 viewers in the stream whilst it was live. Last week it was roughly the same, and that only goes up when it's on demand. At the minute, we got 5 people in this stream, so be sure to drop a like on the stream, on the video if you are watching this back. Thank you very much if you are coming back to watch this, because again, these are usually going on for about 2 hours. Last week it was pushing 3 hours. I think we hit 2.5 hours. And I also noticed top of the chat, we are welcoming Adam Payne to the members. Now, if you watch the videos, you'll know Adam already has a toe. If you are new here, or perhaps don't know how the members work, when you become a member, there are 2 tiers, 99p and 2.99. The bottom tier gets you access to the channel Discord, priority reply to comments, because we are getting a load of comments now on the channel. It might not look like much, only 2 or 3 on the newer videos, but the older videos are getting a lot of attention. So I am responding to members within a few hours, hopefully, because I am on YouTube quite a bit. It's not a problem because I am creating content, but if I wasn't, it would be a problem. Anyway, Adam's the latest addition. We've got room for about 8 more names. Now, that does depend on the usernames. If someone has a really long username, they could probably take up the whole slot, but I'm not sure if YouTube has a limit on that. On top of this, at the higher members tier, for £3 or $2.99, you get access to all the instructions on Rebrickable and a few bonus ones for free. There are a few free ones that I give out to the lower members over time, and they are all made available through the Discord. And then we've also got the decals that I've started making, and again, both tiers get their name on the board. Once we fill up on this one, I'll probably create another. But again, welcome Adam to the membership, and it's quite nice. I'll probably schedule next week's stream after this one, just so I can see all the members throughout the week and give you an extra shout out at the start of every stream. Use the join button down below and you can see all the other perks. I'm sure I've probably forgotten 1 or 2. Now, like I said, we're building animals. I don't know really where to start. We could go in order of the photos here. They're slightly jumbled up. There are a few really cool animals, and I'm not sure if you've heard of the first one. It was a Coati-Mundi, which I thought sounded so much like Ki-Adi-Mundi, and I think we will definitely be building that. I didn't really get a close-up look of the Coati-Mundi, but it just sounds too cool not to build on this stream. But I think we'll start off with a basic one. We saw a snake. I think that's too easy. We'll probably go first with a guinea pig. Now, I will try and get an image of this guinea pig up on the streams just so you can see how evil this looks. But I thought this looked hilarious. Let's see if we can add... Can we add an image? I have no idea how to add an image on this, so bear with me, but it looks like we can add an image. Let me browse. So let me get the right image, make sure I'm not giving away any leaks for future videos or anything like that. Here we go. This is the guinea pig that is being mentioned. Well, that's a very, very big image. This is the guinea pig that is in question here. We've got the white one. I hope you can see this on screen now. Let me try and size this down so you can see me as well as the guinea pig. But it was a pure white guinea pig with the reddest Sith eyes you could imagine. There were 6 of them here, 3 males, 3 females, which were kept in separate pens. And I believe these are all the females, the guinea pigs here. But look at that. That is an evil guinea pig. That is definitely Sith eyes if I'd ever seen them. And let me just double check that this is showing up for you. Yeah, you can see it. So we are going to build this one first probably, and there are a few other like farm animals that we'll get to throughout, but I just had to show this off on stream. I'm going to keep the image up so that you all know what we're building. It'd be nice if we could crop it. Hello there, Max Pro 666. That's, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I butcher a ton of names. I've butchered some of our members' names when they were first chatting. So do correct me in the chat or the comments if you do decide to come back. And let's start building animal number 1, which is this guinea pig. There are also a few things that I'd like to talk about on this stream. Last week we spoke about the Last week we didn't really speak about the botanical garden. We did speak a bit of it in the stream. I cropped it out of the highlights because there was nothing too good to mention, and I've done a video on it since. If you want to know my opinions on the X-Men Mansion, the Botanical Garden, and don't fancy watching the nearly 5 hours worth of stream content we've got on the channel, I have done a video November the 1st, and it covers not only them, but also the gift with purchases that were available earlier this month and have mostly sold out across the world as far as I'm aware. But since then, we got the Marvel sets announced. The Captain America 4, is it now? I think it's Captain America 4 movie sets. And I'm really not a fan. I wanted to do a video on them, but if you want to know another animal with Sith eyes, there's the flamingo. Flamingos, there's quite a few animals actually that have not just Sith eyes, but some sort, well, you got cat eyes as well. Some sort of fluorescent eyes, and they look like Sith eyes. They are definitely animals to be treated with caution. But with the Captain America sets, we've got 1 minifigure set, 1 brickhead set, and 1 buildable figure set. And it's an interesting take, but I'm sure we'll get to that later on in the video. The trip to the zoo was really, really cool. I don't really know how I'm going to start building these creatures. I didn't really plan any of these animals. Usually when people start streaming, they have an idea of what they're building. We're going into it blind, so I'm going to grab a few white bricks and try and get the shape of the guinea pig. So whilst I am looking for a few bricks, might as well run a quick little ad break. Still don't know how the ads work, mind you, so I don't know if the ad is 5 seconds ago or if it was a little bit early as the stream is running, because there is a little bit late in that. But the good thing is with the new mic that I got, so every week there's been an update to the stream. I should probably talk about that because it doesn't seem like there's been too big an update to this video. However, the first week updated, well, the first week we used the webcam, and then by the second week we switched back to what I used to record the videos, and also got the wireless mic, which as you can see I have to turn on, and at least I can't forget to plug it in, but sometimes I do when recording. And this week I was hoping to get a close-up cam. Now there will be a close-up cam for next week's video, I hope. Don't hold me to that, but I am trying to make it work. And also we've got images, I guess, on the screen for this video, so that is quite handy. And on top of that, I'm not quite sure what else really I'll be adding. I said about adding chat to the stream, and I think that would be quite good, just so when it is a video, you can probably have chat just over on the right hand side here. If anyone joins in, they've just got these half Christmas decorations in here, at least you can see them for the most part. I've also given, by the way, speaking of members, we do have a members mascot, which is this skeleton here, because, well, I created the mascot. I 3D printed this giant skeleton. I think it's 125 times bigger, 5 times in every direction, not quite 10 times. But I printed this around Halloween, so of course it was going to be a skeleton. What can we do for Christmas? Give it a Christmas hat, or a Santa hat even. And I think it does festive it up enough, but we could take it a little bit further. I'm thinking we could give it a Christmas jumper, we could give it a candy cane, we could go all out and just create this winter village scene. Perhaps print a white base plate for it to stand on and just go all out, make it festive. But we've got a few other Christmas decorations on the desk here. And yes, Santa is missing one eye. We do have a one-eyed Santa. 8 viewers, be sure you are dropping a like on this video. It helps to push out the stream. And thank you all for chiming in. But we've got, and I don't know if 8 viewers shows for everyone or if that is just what I see, because I noticed that with a few videos, they'll say that they're on 30 odd views. I'll go to check them. And before you know it, it's actually 80 views. YouTube just hasn't caught up. But we do have a Pirate Santa, which I think is cool. We've been debating for, it's been like this for the last couple of years now. We've been debating, you know, sewing a button on or getting another eye, even stealing one from the snowman at some point. But I quite like how this Santa is. I think one year I did cut out a little paper eye patch, so perhaps we can do that again and have a Pirate Santa, which fits with Lego, pirates being a very popular theme, and then a snowman. They do light up, but I don't think no, they don't have batteries in them at the minute, so I will have to change that out at some point. We also have the snowman that plays a very nice tune, but I do not want to be demonetized, so you will not be hearing it on this stream. Anyway, we haven't done much of the guinea pig. I can't remember the names of all the guinea pigs, but one of them was named Charlie, which, if you do know, that is my actual name. It's not the name I use, to be fair, so you might not know it, but that was quite a funny coincidence. And they are quite nice creatures. I always get these and hamsters, not confused, but, you know, mixed up, because they are quite similar creatures. I don't know if there are any guinea pig or hamster. I think because it's a guinea pig, we'll have to make this a bit bigger, but I don't know if any of you do own guinea pigs, hamsters, and the like. I don't know if that's insulting to say they're quite similar, but they are quite nice, to be fair. Never really owned any sort of pets, I don't think. I know my brother's had like fish, and we've had class pets. So my brother had a snake as a class pet, and I had a bearded dragon, both of which we actually saw at the zoo. So both of which hopefully can be built at some point during this stream. But they need some other bricks. But the bearded dragon was named Elvis. And we also had, this must have been about year 6, which I'm not sure what that is for any overseas viewers, but it's about 10, 11 years old. We had Elvis the bearded dragon, and then we had 10 chicks to hatch. And I'm pretty sure they all hatched, and I think only like 8 of the 10 actually made it to the end of the period. But that was really, really cool having a class pet, especially something like a chick as well as a bearded dragon, and then later seeing my brother have a grass snake or a corn snake, I think it actually was. But class pets are always really, really fun, and I think it's good for educational purposes. I know we get quite educational here on the live streams. I'm not quite sure why that is, but we were talking last week about Lego's education system. I've printed a Primo brick, which is the same scale as the education. You can find the video up on the channel because it's behind a few other bits at the minute. But class pets are really good for education and just teaching some lessons, be it about care, be it about animals in general. And with the chicks, we actually, I don't know if I should be saying this on stream, we actually gave them away to a McDonald's, not a local McDonald's, but to, you know, for eggs and a whole free range bit as well. So I don't know where they ended up, and who knows, perhaps I come across them again at some point. That's horrid. But I do like my chicken burgers at McDonald's. But yeah, never really. I've held a guinea pig. I've seen a few people actually that own guinea pigs, but never really owned any. I guess I was more into Lego, to be fair, looking around rather than pets. Pets are a lot of money. Lego's a lot of money. Both pets and Lego are actually quite a bit of money. If I can go without pulling this out. So we've got a base shape for the body of the guinea pig. It is 2 bricks wide, but we're going to start off quite basic. I do want to get quite a few animals built here. So we're starting off with the typical creator shaped builds. And I'm just wondering how to get the body and the head separate. Perhaps we can even do insane. I don't think there should be that much of a slope for them. We've also got the ears. I think the head should be a little taller perhaps. So let's get some of these plates. Perhaps we can go with a 2x6. That's a good thing with having all the parts behind. I genuinely, if I forget to say in a video, there was a video for the minifigure scale that I posted yesterday, I think it was. I don't record over the weekend, so I do forget when I'm recording some of these videos. But I think it was yesterday's video where we went over a minifigure scale and looked at Brick Sheeper's designs of minifigures, which are really, really cool, by the way. Definitely check out the designs, if not the longer video that I posted. But the reason I bring this up is because when I was building the Stormtrooper, you notice my hands, it's a time lapse, it's very, very quick, but they dip like 2 or 3 times from the screen. And the reason behind it is because I actually completely forgot some of the parts and had to go and collect them from my parts bins, which are right behind me. Really, really handy. Like I said, I think we should get a nose for the guinea pig, but what color should the nose be? Because I've got a few different like bright pinks, but I think that's just too bright. I think we need like a sand blue, or we might be able to use a light or dark bluish gray, but I don't think a slope's going to cut it. So we might have to give this a break and come back to this once we've built a few others. Perhaps I should have started with the snake. It might have been a bit easier, but as long as we're having fun, it really doesn't matter here. And then for the legs, I think we'll go with some slope elements. I know it's a bit basic, but like I said, we're starting off simple so we can build up and get a bit more complicated as we go through, hopefully. And time for another ad break. But speaking of getting a bit more complex, there are some, like, there's no way you can build a badger in this 2D form. Perhaps that was my problem. I needed to build it 3D from the start. But we're going to start with this, get better, and hopefully it makes for a really fun video. We do need some snot bricks for the eyes, and I am going to go with those bright red eyes, those Sith eyes, because I think it's what drew me to the creature in the first place, so it makes sense to include them in the build. And I apologize because I'm wearing the Bluetooth mic. It is probably a bit louder when I'm rummaging through Lego, but I'll try and keep the noise to, well, as low as I can, really, without not rummaging through the Lego parts. I should probably do a updated video on how I store my Lego, because I have changed quite a few things recently. And I think, being someone who watched a load of Lego YouTube for the past quite a long time, I think the eyes are a bit too far forward. I don't know. You probably just about see it, but that does not look like what's on screen. That's something, but let's remodel the head. I think it is the head. I think the body might be a bit too wide because they are quite, but as wide as they are quite bulky. So I think because we're building this in a more 2D art style, if we just get rid of a row of 2x bricks and then try and shrink it down, perhaps we can make a little guinea pig, which will help us with the sizes of creatures going forward, of all these other animals. But for the head's going to be really fun now. I've got rid of some bricks. But for the, I've what I was talking about now. Oh yeah, I do need a 2x4, not a 2x6. The parts drawers. For the parts drawers, I am going to make some sort of video. I don't know if I'll make it members only because there are so many times you can create videos like going through your storage. I know a load of other creators out there that have a few bigger audience do a few of them, but they are quite easy videos to do. I might make it a members only and go really into depth. So the reason I make members only videos isn't to lock certain hidden knowledge behind a paywall, but is rather just because I know it's not something that everyone's going to see. Some things, I've got a video that I'm working at that I still need to order the parts for, about Christmas presents and sort of how it's a how-to guide of ordering Christmas presents. But I know there are certain family members that I will be ordering for that watch the videos here on the channel. So it's really easy. Give it to members only, and then that saves me having to hide a few of the presents in the video. I can just let it out, and I'm sure none of them are going to go out of their way just to become a member and pay however much to get their Christmas presents early. But to be honest, if they want to, I really don't mind. I mean, not much of it's going to be going to me anyway. YouTube's going to take their half cut of the memberships, but it's just something. The memberships help out the channel. It also helps out YouTube, but it really does help with the little bits, the little projects that I've got going. It helps to fund them and just keep the other projects that are already in the works running. And I really do appreciate everyone that becomes a member, helping out the channel just that extra little bit. And that looks a little, it doesn't look perfect, but I can barely see the difference between the two images. We do need to get some ears on it. I think I will use again some dark bluish grey slopes. The ears look quite far back, but they're not. Maybe I need a 1x slope. They're not quite in the body, but they're just towards the back of the head. But yeah, we're getting on. We're getting on with it. Hopefully with these streams as they go on, you do see an improvement, because I am still new. Like I said at the start, this is my third live stream here on the channel. I don't think it's any more than that, though at some point I will be forgetting about a few. We had the webcam one, then the one last week, which was the first one with this mic, which I don't know how I feel. It's not the actual mic, because I recorded I think one of the city videos on my partner's phone, which I'm looking to upgrade to her model, which is why I tried it out, and it worked really, really well. But the problem, yeah, let's not use that one. But the problem with the mic and why it keeps peaking, I think because of how low my voice is when I'm actually talking, because I'll be testing out my mic and I'll be speaking a bit higher like this, but when I actually talk, my voice goes a bit lower, and the mic, the recording software really doesn't agree with it. So I get these odd peaks. But like I say, if you have any advice in the comments, if you are streaming, if you are making videos and have dealt with this sort of thing, I am recording through, I'm streaming at the minute through OBS, which seems to be what everyone else uses. Feel free to leave advice in the comments, in the chat. I really do not mind other people comment in. And as you can see, there is a link for members in the chat, which was posted like a minute ago, but I've only just noticed it. I'm trying to keep on top of chat as we're going on throughout this stream, and also try not to forget what I am down here looking for. But yes, as the streams go on, hopefully you will see an improvement. Perhaps sometime next year I will be, hello there, Great Snow Blizzard, nice to have you in the stream. Hopefully sometime next year I will be looking through these laughing. Perhaps we can even react to a few of the best parts from the earlier on streams. Also, something whilst I'm building, what I think is a really good tip. At the minute, I'm looking for a 2x3 slope on the front. Now, I know loads of people do separate by piece or by color. For the most part, some of my parts drawers are just completely mixed up. We have 2x4s, 1x4s, 2x3s, 1x3s. Oh, I don't think I have any 2x or 1x5s or 6 or anything longer than that. So these are, for the most part, 2x4s, 1x4s, 2x3s, slope elements, by the way. And I'm looking for a 2x3. Can't find a 2x3, but right on top, I have two 1x3s. And if you're using them together, if you're looking for a 2x3, you might as well use two 1x3s. So that's a technique that I find really, really helpful. And it depends what you're building. Sometimes if you need them to hold each other on, or if they're holding another piece on, that's not going to be helpful at all. But for the most part, it does work out. And as you can see from the side, you're not going to notice any difference. So it is really handy. And if you are building your own models, or even if you're breaking out some, I don't have the Death Star because we broke it down last week. I did finish breaking that down, by the way. And again, even though we broke down about 3 times as much, 2 times as much bricks as in the first stream, 20 minutes just to pick up parts, dump them in drawers. It really, I don't know what it is, because I always used to sort them into different dividers, into different drawers, and then funnel them back out. But having them all just laid out on the desk in their different parts, maybe that's how I should start building sets. I know loads of people build sets that way. Perhaps there is a little secret to the trade. It's definitely something to think of if you're building a lot of sets. I'm going to stop announcing ad breaks and just go to an ad whenever I need a drink. I think it's a bit easier. Oh, wow, this is not the way to build a guinea pig. Again, before I see a few people jumping in and out, now on to, I can't, well, the views have gone, but we are probably above 8 because that's the highest peak at the minute. We are building a guinea pig and I get easily distracted. So sometimes I will start waffling and just hang on. We will sometimes get back to what I was originally talking about. But how do we do this middle bit? I don't know whether to slope it off and try to build up the back, because then that makes the head, maybe the head is a bit too pronounced there, but we can always add. I don't have a ton of white 2x or 1x slopes, and I'm just double checking I haven't built anything. I only use the really tall ones for rec. Sometimes I'll find a project that I've done, you know, a few years ago or a few months ago on the channel, and I'll realize, oh, that's where all the pieces have been. But recently I haven't really been finding any of them. I think we might be done, you know. I think this might be it. So for anyone that has joined, we are building, the first animal we are building is this Sith guinea pig that I saw at the zoo on Saturday. I don't think I've explained properly why we were at the zoo. It was my uncle's birthday, and once again, a lot of birthdays recently. I think last week we were talking about my father-in-law's birthday, but we surprised him with a trip to the zoo, a few members of my family. It was a really, really fun time, and today we're building some animals from it. And if you can't make the full stream or don't have the time to sit and watch, because we will be streaming for like maybe 2+ hours here. I started it early. You know, we are probably going to be finishing this after 12. Then check out, there'll be a full video tomorrow going over the finished animals. But perhaps this is something that you can leave on whilst you're sleeping. And I know YouTube has a bedtime timer. If you are watching this whilst you are going off to sleep, or perhaps you're studying in the background, make sure to turn off that bedtime timer. I don't really know if it is too much a good idea. Most devices have sleep timers. It seems like an unnecessary addition when we're still waiting for 3-minute shorts. But, you know, do not bite the hand that feeds you. YouTube are paying most of my bills here, so who am I to complain? But we have a few. If you did want, maybe I should have a little list of animals we can build in the chat so that you can decide. Again, I do want to be a bit more interactive. I know I'm reading out chats and engaging in conversation, but I would like to have things like, I know we can get polls up. I know we can start Q&As so I can answer viewer questions live. That is, let's start that. Say something. What animal should I build next? And I'll be honest, I know you don't know what animals I saw. It does sort of defy the point. But if I didn't see an animal, there were a lot of reptiles, farm animals, and, you know, no giraffes, elephants. Technically, probably a little model of a giraffe or elephant somewhere throughout the zoo, if I'm remembering correctly. But we didn't see any actual giraffes and elephants. So as long as you keep them quite smaller animals, we've got reindeers, we've got really so many animals. I will try to make it work, or at least pick an animal that is slightly similar to it. Try my best to find it. So what animal should I build next? Let's start that Q&A. And let's build the chat into the video a little bit more. All right, so I can now see answers for that. I'll have to remember to check that. And I've still haven't really played around for this, so forgive me. We will get used to this as we go on. Again, as I said, by this time next year, we should be a professional at streaming. So be sure to stay tuned till next year. Don't just come back next year. Make sure you are subscribed. You drop a like on the stream to encourage me to keep going for next year. If you haven't made the last streams, I should also make you aware that over December, Christmas, time for families, we've got a lot going on, so I won't be streaming over December, but over November, every single Monday. It was the same. Well, it weren't every single Monday in October, but the last 2 weeks, Mondays, this week, we've also got 3 more Mondays. We got the 11th, the 18th, the 25th. We got 3 more Mondays, so that's 6 for this year. Goats, yes, there was goats. Actually, you know what? We might do goats next because there is a really funny image. Again, give me a second to get the image up. I'm sure I'll be waffling in the meantime because there's a really, really fun picture of a goat. And for the next 3 Mondays, I don't really know what we've got planned. I do have a rough schedule, though, as you can see, I don't always tend to keep to it. We'll get on to the Marvel sets later, but I was going to do a video on it. I don't think the sets are good enough to do a video. I don't want to do another video complaining. I know I did one for a Star Wars set that come out, and it was a very... It wasn't hating on Lego or anything like that, but I just didn't like the set, so it seemed like a very negative video. And it popped off because negativity seems to be the best thing to monetize on the platform, but that's not how I want to have videos pop off. Go to my popular videos and it's just, this set's bad, this set's bad. So I'm not going to do a video on it, but we'll talk on it on the stream. Also, next week, we've got the Minecraft world. We are going to be continuing the Minecraft world. So I will remind everyone at the end of the stream, and I'll probably get a thumbnail up, as I said, after this video. But the next image, give me a second to find it, is of this goat that we saw. And the goats actually broke out almost twice. Once they just, opened the gate that was in front of them because they were quiet. They were roomy enclosures. I mean, there was only sort of pairs of every animal. Every animal had a buddy or a mate, and maybe a few others. A lot of the birds, there were a lot of birds, and like the reindeers, I think, were in a trio. But the goats were, I mean, if you know what a goat sort of looks like, one of them had horns, like a typical goat. Just picture a typical goat, and it would lock itself in the gate and try and wedge it open. I think the gate probably wasn't shut properly at some point, but it did open itself. We've done the guinea pig. I almost forgot the name of it then. So if you can take a look side by side with the evil Sith guinea pig, and now we'll change that to this image. I'm starting to get the hang of it. This is too big, perhaps. We can crop this one. There's a lot of grass, but as you can see, the goat had its head stuck through. I did feed this one actually a bit as well, though we'll get on to feeding in a second because there was one animal that just chowed down the whole lot. I think we can crop, there we go, we can crop this image. So let's get rid of some of the, okay, this is taking too long. Let's go with, pick a number, any number. It doesn't seem to have cropped it. It was cropping a second ago. Anyway, we'll leave it up. I'll try and get it out of the way of the, maybe out of the way of the actual building station, but the goat had its head stuck through, and there was another one. You can see it just in the background. If I can zoom in, you can see there is a second goat in the background there, and that was the one that got its head jammed through, and in pulling it out, it opened the gate. We were there, we shut it, and then when we were walking past later, both goats just walked straight past us as if nothing was happening. They didn't seem fussed or anything. It was definitely a sight. And yeah, the goats broke out twice whilst we were there. So let's build the goat. But as we've built the, seems like Noah's Ark, there were two of, it's almost like a companionship thing. But as we've built a white guinea pig, I need to write the name on it or something, which if you didn't know, you can actually write. Let me show you. You can actually write on Lego bricks. This is a whiteboard pen, a dry erase marker. I think not a permanent marker. I know you can get some rubbable permanent markers, but if you were to write anything on the guinea pig, it just looks so pale you can't even see the writing. Oh, there you go. You can kind of see the writing on it, and then you were to rub it off. Try not to use a jumper. Maybe a tissue would be better. You can see the right. You couldn't see the writing beforehand, so I don't really know what I'm showing you, but there's no writing on it. It also works on Windows as well, which is a fun fact. But you probably knew that because you see all these science shows with the giant glass sheet so it can be seen both sides. Fun fact, Lego bricks, the non-rubber ones, the ABS Lego bricks are, I don't know if it is all ABS, because I think if it was a rough surface, it would probably stick to it, and some, like a little 3PO actually. I coloured one of my 3PO's eyes reds, and I do have slightly tinted pupils. Some different printed parts may pick up, but for plain bricks, you can scribble all over them, and you could probably make a whiteboard board out of Lego, though it's a very, very expensive whiteboard board, even if you are using like the typical 1x4 elements. But let's build the goat. So we are building the goat in the background, but I do want to build a little fence out of plates that we can get our goat head stuck into, because I thought that was just absolutely hilarious. And I think we'll go slightly white as well in the back again. In case you did miss it a second ago, we are building the goat that's just up here, level with my eyes over there. And it is a bit of a brown, tan, and white goat. We're going to be using the front goat as, I guess, the goat bit. Well, we know roughly what a goat looks like, but we are going to be building it tan, brown, make it maybe a little bit muddy, and then it does have two horns as well, slightly covered by the wood at the top. But again, they're the typical sort of ram horns that you can picture when picturing a stereotypical goat, I suppose. And I'm not quite sure the reasoning behind why some goats have horns, some don't. I know for reindeers that the male's horns shed. They're meant to shed sort of November, December, because there was a male reindeer there that still had absolutely massive horns on his head. I think I've probably got an image I'll be able to show you later on in the stream. But the female reindeers, the reindeers, is that the technical word? Keep their horns a bit later, because of that's usually when they have younger children, and they keep them into the new year rather than shedding them at Christmas. So technically, all of the reindeer pulling Santa's sleigh shouldn't have horns. Well, I guess no, technically the female ones still would, but I don't really know if the reindeers are gendered, so maybe half of them should have horns, half of them don't, but that might, lopside the sleigh a little bit. Either way, I digress. The males lose their antlers. I've called them horns for this whole patch, haven't I? They're technically antlers, they're not horns, but they lose their antlers towards the end of the year. Females keep them for a few months to protect their young, and then they also lose them, and they're actually covered in like blood vessels and that whilst they're growing, which is what the felty substance looks like. And I've got a whole ton of facts about these animals. Perhaps I can get to a few more when we're actually at the reindeers and building them, because of course, almost Christmas, so we've got to build the reindeers eventually. But yeah, they go all fluffy, and then they shed, and they scratch it off against the trees and all that. But onto the goat. So as we built the guinea pig this big, I won't be building the goat to scale, because the goat would be about this big, and we're already about a quarter through the stream. So I do want to be picking up the pace, but I think I will be using similar legs for the goats. The goats tend to be quite a bit fluffier. I don't know, guinea pigs are pretty fluffy, but they tend to look like they've got a bit more fur on them. And you can see this one's got a very, little head of hair and a few fluffs coming over the wooden gate. Apologies for that, just smacked the mic. But I'm going to try and get that look with a few different cheese slopes and 1x2s. If you've seen the Fortnite llama, or if you've seen the pinata that Lego come out with, by the way, if you do want the Fortnite llama but can't afford it, the pinata does look really, really cool, and actually cracks in half like a pinata. Not quite Fortnite, but it does make for a cool Christmas present. Again, members will get a video on Lego for Christmas coming up soon, and that's a good point about the Lego Marvel set, so I think we'll get into that. I'm so used to having to talk clipped in or having a mic that I've got to talk to that I forget I can just turn around, and I know it's different because of the echo. Probably not as good as this way round. I haven't thought about it too hard, but it is it's one of the things that I'll just get used to with this mic, like not quite looking down because it does start peaking a little bit worse. But for the Marvel sets coming out December the 1st, I think they should have done it January. I don't think the Marvel sets, if you haven't seen the Marvel sets, I could probably, I tell you what, they're over on lego.com. I won't bring up an image. I don't really want to advertise them here on the channel. I've done a community post for one of the ones with the minifigures to ask for feedback, and there've been some really cool points. But nearly everyone's mentioned about the price of it. It's like 50, maybe 50 something pound for 4 minifigures, 200-piece fighter jet, which, let's face it, is not much different to the Snub Fighter or the Indiana Jones fighter plane. The Indiana Jones fighter plane come with a car alongside that. I think the fighter plane might not be quite 200 pieces, probably like 180. I'll have the correct image up on screen when I'm making the video, so be sure to come back and check that out. I realise I don't have a lot of these slopes. We might have to go big or go home. But for the Marvel sets coming out December the 1st, they're not targeting people that have seen the movie. I don't know when the Captain America movie comes out. If anyone knows in the chat, do let me know, because usually it's slightly after. So the Wicked sets come out like a month ago. We've still got nearly 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks till the Wicked movie comes out. It's to build the hype and also to profit off the hype of the movies, because you've got everyone getting excited for the movie, buying sets, buying everything. Then they see the movie and it sort of plummets. I don't know if that's the case with everything. It is the case with Star Wars specifically, which is probably why the Skeleton Crew, even though Skeleton Crew itself has been delayed, it will probably be most popular before the series comes out. Because once the series is out, there's a 50-50 chance now with Star Wars that the ship's just going to blow up eventually. So people won't be as attached to something that doesn't play as big a role. And I know the ship does play a big role for Skeleton Crew. It was a horrid example of me to pick, but I do think to some extent that a lot of merchandise, it depends on it, because I'm sure the original trilogy didn't sell as many action figures in the year running up to the A New Hope release, if they had action figures out at the time, as it has in the decades afterwards. There's no chance it holds up to that. But for a lot of movies, if they don't do as well and they don't live up to the hype, mainly looking at the sequels here, you see a lot of them going on sale very, very quickly, which I think is a case with even like the Justifier, Great Snow Blizzard just mentioned. Perfect timing, by the way, what I was saying. The Justifier going heavily on sale afterwards because no one's picking up. Though I will say with the Justifier, it's one of the sets that I can still find out on Amazon. Oh, I don't remember the last time I checked. It was like 120 quid, because I did think about getting that and the Inquisitor Scythe, which is another set that came out for like 120 and I think still goes. The Justifier was 150 at retail, so that's still on Amazon for 150 as of me last check-in. I'm not sure if it would have gone up. That Cad Bane minifigure was sort of popular, but I think that's what's kept it at that price, because there's no other exclusive parts besides Cad Bane and Todo. Fenix come in a few other sets, and we get Omega, who was in an advent calendar, and Hunter, who was in the last Bad Batch set. That anyone that wants the batch already has them. We should have got a Crosshair. I understand with the scene why we didn't get a Crosshair and why we got Hunter, but they should have snuck in a little Crosshair. Perhaps Crosshair was fighting someone in one of the concept arts, and Lego could definitely squeeze it in. As for Captain America, so the movie comes out Valentine's next year, according to our moderator. I will take her word. She's probably a lot closer than I would be. I thought it was a few days after the sets were released, the whole year apart. But it comes out next year. Anytime next year, it comes out next year. The sets come out December the 1st, and the problem with them is they're not going after people that, are getting excited for the show or anything. the prices of them are absolutely unbelievable. It's terrible how much that Red Hulk has been charged. And I know there was a similar price set a few years, almost a decade ago or something like that. I watched a video from Mini Superheroes today and great reviews on the sets, but a few spoilers in there based on the leaks. If you don't want spoilers, don't check them out. But if you don't mind spoilers, go check out the videos. They're really cool. But the problem I have is with them coming out December the 1st, they're not going after fans. They're going after parents. They're going after aunts and uncles, nans and granddads that know their kids love Marvel. These are the only 3 Marvel sets we've got, bearing in mind, that are coming out this side of Christmas, this side of the new year. So you're looking at Christmas, any festive birthdays out there, any birthdays earlier on in the new year. The new movie coming out is Captain America. And yes, okay, you could make an argument that we've just got Deadpool. Where are the Deadpool sets? I think for the age range that we're looking at, we're not looking at Deadpool sets. We're looking towards, the Captain America, the Avengers, the younger superheroes, not quite the, WandaVision with all of the gore that we saw in Multiverse of Madness, though that as a set would be really cool for the minifigure lineup alone. But we're looking at the older relatives buying presents for their children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and younger family members that like Marvel. And let's face it, loads of kids love Marvel nowadays. Marvel are on top of it. In terms of Star Wars is definitely a slightly older audience than Marvel is, which is a little bit ironic because a lot of the Star Wars content coming out is coming out now. Most of the Marvel content that come out were the comics from decades ago. So there's still a big adult audience, don't get me wrong. But a lot of you see it in the colors as well. Star Wars, you look at all the gray, black ships. Lego are doing an amazing job as of recent trying to reduce that and giving us more colorful ships. Can't forget we're building a goat here. But the Marvel is potentially the goat of kids sets. I know there's Ninjago and a few other themes that are probably just as if not a little more popular. City seems to be selling a lot. There's more City sets in a year than there is Marvel sets, so it's clearly selling a bit better. But I think that is the audience that they are going for. So Lego are targeting these parents, grandparents that might not know as much about Lego as you and me, and might not, have seen many Lego sets or be keeping up to tabs because, they're working hard just to afford these sets at the end of the day. Not to say we're not. I'm sure we all are working hard at what we're doing, but they're working extra hard just to afford the 50-odd pound for 4 minifigures, which personally is a rubbish deal. And it's not going to go on sale this side of Christmas, so they're going to pick up the new set. I think a load more people nowadays are a bit more aware that toys go on sale quite quickly, so perhaps vouchers or something would be better for children to spend on what they want, but especially for the sort of early teens. I have grandparents. I know they want kids to open stuff on Christmas. They don't just want vouchers or pre-orders or anything like that. Although I'm sure there's probably a few digital games out there being gifted for Christmas, and just open up a card to like a little 8-digit code or whatever it is that's probably cost like £90 to £120. But back to the Lego sets, it's interesting. They're releasing them not only early, but they're getting them in before Christmas. And I think that's what I have a big problem with. If they were a January 1st set, we get loads of Marvel sets. Did we get Marvel? Yeah, we get loads of Marvel sets January, because I know Harry Potter waits until like March. We get Star Wars in May. We get a few sets in January, but most of them in May. So if they'd released them in January, that's fair enough. The fact that they are the most expensive sets I've probably ever seen on Lego, let alone recently, because you're working it out and it's like 25 pence a brick for the bigger set, which I don't exactly remember the values off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the most expensive sets we've seen, even including Lego Star Wars. Definitely the most expensive set we've seen from Marvel recently. So the most expensive Lego set I have reviewed on the channel is the 501st Clone Trooper Battle Pack. Oh yeah, we got battle packs are probably a bit worse than that. That's coming in at 29 pence per brick. And the new Marvel set, as I said, I can't remember exactly. It's something like 25 pence per brick. I have the exact measurement on screen for the... I've got to stop saying that. There might not be a highlight video. Maybe I'll do 2 videos tomorrow. Who knows? But either way, it's on par with the Star Wars battle packs. most battle packs. I mean, a lot of the battle packs right now, as of recording this, are almost half price, maybe about a third of at most stores, which I think will be something, as Great Snow Blizzard said, with a Justifier, you're probably best off waiting for this to be about half price, because I think it will be reduced heavily quite quickly as well. We're speaking maybe not New Year sales, that's way too quick, but possibly some sales in the new year. If it was released any earlier, it'd probably be going on some Black Friday sales, because we saw that with the Star Wars. It was the Yavin Ceremony set last year, released for something crazy like 150, 130 pound. And Black Friday, in the UK, is a store not known for its Lego, had it on sale for 90 quid. Most recently, the 150 pound Dark Falcon was on sale at Game. So far, I haven't seen anyone actually get their Lego Dark Falcon from Game. So as far as I'm aware, it was basically a scam. They weren't robbing people, don't get me wrong, but it did seem like a scam. So far, I haven't seen anyone actually pick it up. Just a few people review it because of the sale and getting a bit of the attention from it. Fair enough. I really did want to pick that up at Game, but I don't live near a Game to check it. And apparently it was out of stock. They actually took down the website after a couple of hours, just because I guess people were thinking they were getting a really good deal and they probably didn't have any in stock. I do wonder, because the other Falcon was also on sale, but that was reduced a bit more. I don't even think that's a £80 set. The midi scale one, I don't think that's an £80 set to begin with. But it is interesting why they're releasing them this early. If the movie's not coming out for another 2, nearly 3 months, why out just before Christmas? I think it's exactly to capitalize on the parents, grandparents, and it's not the first time Lego would have done something like this. We've seen them called out by LAN members and that. And again, this is just my theory. I'm not saying Lego are doing this, but based on the sets coming out December the 1st, I think it's pretty clear what they are doing. The set's not bad. The little jet that comes with the really expensive one does look pretty cool, and the Hulk brickheads does look a bit not up to Lego's standard, but it actually matches the Hulk brickheads we got a few years ago. So if you did want to build that, you could pick this up and just change the colors out, though you'd probably be better getting the digital instructions from lego.com, because they are made available to everyone for absolutely no extra cost, or through the Builders app. Again, not an advertisement. It just saves ordering them off Bricklink or eBay if you do want instructions for an older set, and just trying to part them out and build them through that, because I don't see them being incredibly popular, but I know somehow people will still be picking them up, especially for Christmas presents. Great Snow Blizzard says it reminds them how Lego released the Marvel set, which was the only set, I believe, to date, still the only set, book, anything we got of. And actually, that Captain Marvel was available in a magazine. I don't know about the other 2 minifigures, but it was, I can't remember what the ship was called. It was called like the Hopper or something like that. And it was a fairly sized ship, a solid £40 set. Maybe £40 a little bit cheap. I do have a tendency to, be a bit more idealistic. A solid £50 set. Come with 3 minifigures. Not solid for £50, but it happens. Maybe they couldn't fit another few minifigures. I think it also technically come with the cat. So we'll say 4 minifigures for £50 ain't bad. Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau, who is not Miss Marvel, because Miss Marvel is the Phoenix, or Jean Grey from the X-Men. But there's another Marvel term I think she's called in the comics. But either way, 3 Marvels in one set. Really, really cool. $90 or like 80 quid, which, it was a burn. It was sore. That probably released before Christmas, to be fair. It was probably a similar thing. I think that released halfway through the year. But it was the only set of that movie. We could talk about sets like this all day. We've got Andor. We've got the Justifier, which was the only set from Bad Batch Season 2. And I think the Justifier is genuinely the reason we didn't get a set for Bad Batch Season 3. I think the Bad Batch shuttle was reasonably priced. It was around that £100, $100 mark, but it was quite reasonable considering you got the whole lineup of Bad Batch minifigures, and the minifigures alone definitely made it worth it. I think they're worth almost 20 quid each in today's Bricklink market. But no Omega, but we didn't really know Omega at the time, so that's fair enough. Bad Batch Shuttle, really cool set. We even got a speeder with it as well, which didn't fit in the ship. I can't say it was a disappointment because the speeder's not exactly an integral part, but the ship fit all of the Bad Batch minifigures, and that was good enough. But we've seen so many sets like this from Lego that are just a little bit too much, and they are a little bit. I don't think they are extremely overpriced. I just think, you know, even if this set, okay, we're looking at 200 pieces, which tends to be sort of a £25 price mark. That's around the battle packs. But you're looking at £30, £35 possibly. And I do think they could probably push £40 on it. Again, there'd be complaints, there'd be questions, but I think they could have probably made it a bit more expensive without making it too expensive. There's the question of, is it the Big Fig? Is it the Marvel license? What part is making it expensive? Honestly, I think the December 1st release date has as much to do with that as everything else. The reason we didn't see it with the buildable figure is a little more expensive because of the massive wings on Captain America. But the reason we don't see it with the BrickHeads is because Lego are releasing so many BrickHeads. They're gradually increasing the price, of course. Pretty sure they're not like £10 anymore. They're like £12, but they are, yeah, definitely December the 1st had some effect on the price because there's just no way the Big Figs alone, or the Marvel license alone, or the Star Wars license alone, or the DC license alone adds up to that much of a price difference. It's just way too expensive for Lego. Lego does strive itself, and I know they're trying to be more inclusive to AFOLs and adults and people over the ages of, well, there's a lot of 18 plus sets, but you know, people over the ages of not just me, but over the ages of 30 and older adults, because when an adult would walk, and again, we're talking about, say, an average 30-year-old here, when an average 30-year-old would walk into a Lego store, say 10 years ago, everyone would assume they're buying something for a child, for a younger relative, or someone not themselves. Whereas nowadays, if an adult, I don't know how I've just broken that, if an adult was to walk into a store, they'd probably be just as much welcomed by the 18 plus section as they would by something like Duplo, which is still aimed at 3 to 5, I think Duplo is. And I don't think Lego really have much. I don't know, it might be 2 to, I think it's around that 4 plus mark, which of course we now have Lego sets for as well, which some of the 4 plus Lego sets are really, really cool. I think I'm going to get some Snot Bricks for the goat. We are building a goat at the minute. As you can see on screen, we've got the goat with the head stuck. This is a picture that I took at the zoo on Saturday, and we've just built a guinea pig. I'll show them all off at the end and probably have a few more close-ups for you. If you do make it to the end of the stream, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all of that golden stuff while I get my Snot Bricks. The good thing with using drawers like this is I know I said I'd do a video on it later on, and I will, but I can section out these drawers, and I've got these 4x4 inch cardboard tubs. They're actually 4x4x4. Cut them in half, and now you have 2 containers. Really, really cool. So much better for not just the planet, but you know, for me, in terms of my wallet, in terms of a bit of labor. I did have to cut down, I think, like 25 boxes to fill up 1.5. They are so much easier than trying to 3D print. This is a 3D printed tub. I started doing that just to get the smaller tubs. That's easier than trying to get a bunch of like 25 tubs, or trying to use spare parts from the cut-offs to divide. Oh, there you go. You can see exactly how big they are. 4x4x4, which is 102 millimeters cubed in every direction. That's what cubed means. And it's just really easy, because when I want certain Snot Bricks, which my Snot Bricks are a mess, I printed off these 2 tubs so I could separate my regular Snot Brick 1x1s and then the 1x1 headlights recessed. I don't know the technical names, but I do need to go through this and sort this out at some point. Either way, I think we're going to use, actually, I think I've got more black 1x4 Snot Bricks than grey, and I've got a few 1x2s as well. So we'll use them just to fluff up the goat. The guinea pig is quite a creative box build. So hopefully we can add a bit more dimension using the slopes we got earlier and also the 1x1 cheese slopes, which are all in a tub here. I'm going to pour these out in a second and make an absolute mess. But that is the fun of Lego, pouring these out, making a mess. And again, you can't really see the desk too well, but next week I'll work on some sort of close-up cam. So when we're restarting work on the Minecraft world, which is just you can slightly see the Minecraft world here. You can see the fox house and the axolotl down below it. We are trying to add a bit more dimension, depth to it, and hopefully I might also 3D print a few Duplo bricks so that we can build up the back of it easier, but I'm not sure how much work will get done next week, considering I've been streaming for 1 hour and 2 minutes and we've got a guinea pig to show for it and a start of a goat, to be fair. Not like we've done nothing all stream. We've talked quite a bit about things. Speaking of, I mentioned Christophsis in my Fortnite video. I built a Fortnite mock, which you can kind of see behind the 8080. I've kept half of the Fortnite mock build. I did destroy the build side of it, and I've kept the 0 build for really like the model, to be fair. But I have broken down Christophsis. It's still around. I have the AAT sat on my bed at the minute. So the AAT is still built. Got that right twice now. And the AV7 is broken into its components. And I probably won't destroy it. I'll bag it up. But just so you know, I've put a few of my dioramas behind me on the shelf there. The Bad Batch shuttle, I've a bit behind with the chat. I do apologize. But Snow Blizzard, Great Snow Blizzard, one of our channel members, also has their name on the members board here. You might not be able to see it because of the glare and the brightness, but right here, Great Snow Blizzard, our penultimate member. I mean, second to last. I guess we haven't got a last member, but you know, the last one we've got so far said they regret not picking up the Bad Batch shuttle. You know, I don't regret picking it up at all. Really love it. My Bad Batch minifigures are actually on the display behind the goat. I don't know if there's a point moving the goat because they're behind the Christmas tree too. But as you can see, my Bad Batch shuttle, all my Bad Batch members, including Omega at the bottom actually, are on the left-hand side of this wall. And a fun fact that I got told by one of you in the comments, shout out to whoever said this in an older video, who knows, you might still be watching the stream. If you are, let me know in the chat, said that the Bad Batch aren't technically wearing Phase 2 clone armor because they're in... they're in... It begins with a K. I can't remember. Is it like Katal armor? I can't. It's what the commandos wear, basically. What these guys up here wear. They're wearing commando armor. Really cool commando custom, by the way. Filoni clones again, where I get all my custom clones. But I don't regret not picking it up. I just think it's quite a big ship to display. And I think in terms of sets, I would have Catan. Shout out Great Snow Blizzard. Catan style armor. They're in Catan style armor, which is the same as the commandos, which is why they can hold up to a bit more playwear and fighting than the regular Phase 2 clones. But I think and I know there's going to be two sides to this, I would have really liked to have seen a UCS Bad Batch shuttle in place of maybe the Justifier or something, a big collector's model, because I think the detail would just be so good. Whereas the shuttle itself, over time, it was the wings were placed, it was very shuttle Tidarium, and I'm not to say I'm not a fan of them. I would really like to pick up a Tidarium shuttle or just an Imperial shuttle at some point. It would have been great to have got one for the Mandalorian with Dr. Pershing and a few other minifigures, but that is a theory or a wish list one for another time. But it became a bit of a hassle to display, and because I couldn't display it with the wings open because of how big it was, I ended up breaking it down, and I've used a lot of the wedge plates for certain mocks across the last few months. But because of the minifigures, and exclusively the minifigures, that set is probably going to set you back a small fortune to pick up. But keep an eye out. You never know when you might bump into a used set that's going for a pretty affordable price, somewhere close to retail, I would hope. But the X-Men jet that's just released, I've seen the X-Men jet for I think it's £70 here in the UK. I've seen it reduced to about 40, just over half price, and we're looking in Smiths, Sainsbury's, for certain events throughout the year that has been reduced. It only come out this year, but that has been reduced quite frequently. And I've held off because how quickly that's been reduced, I will be so interested to see how much it goes for at Black Friday. If we're getting a 50% or more reduction on it. And likewise, if it is reduced this year, like I said with the ceremony set, the Yavin ceremony set, if that was reduced to £90 last year, what's it going to be this year? What's it going to be next year? It might not even retire this year. If it stays on, if it goes to £90 again this year, what's it going to be when it's retiring? Perhaps not as much on sale, as retiring sets tend to sell a bit better than sets even on sale sometimes. But it'll be really interesting to see what some of these sets are going for towards the end of their shelf life, towards, when they are getting towards the end of when Lego are shipping them out, because that Snub Fighter that I have built into countless mocks really made itself back on the channel, to be honest with you. That has completely retired pretty much everywhere other than Lego here in the UK. As I said, I showed a screenshot in not my last mock, but the one before. I'm pretty certain I added it into the video, and I don't know if it made the final cut, but it was selling for £50 on Amazon. You could still buy it for £30 on Lego.com. I don't know why anyone was paying. Well, they probably weren't paying that much, but again, give it a few months, give it a few years, maybe even. If Bane does play as big a part as I'm theorizing in Skeleton Crew, perhaps it will be selling for that, £50+ even, with that exclusive minifigure, unless they re-release him in the set and the price suddenly drops to rock bottom. But it'll be interesting to see certain things like that. The X-Men Jet is a set I'm definitely looking out for on sale. Probably won't pick it up. I've got the CMF Wolverine, Beast and Storm trio. I've got the 3 of them. Very happy to have those in my collection. It's another little collection I've got. My little X-Men minifigures. I've got my Venomized minifigures, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I am only missing... Well, there's a few that I want, like Lucky the Dog and that. No, not Lucky the Dog. Cosmo the dog. Lucky's from Hawkeye. There are so many Marvel minifigures that are out there. Perhaps I can use Lucky as a Cosmo. I just need to get a space helmet. Okie dokes. I will remember that after this video, and we'll also create a Cosmo. But let's get working on this scope, because I have a few different little collections, and something like X-Men is something that I would like to get a few more minifigures, but I am really hoping. I haven't answered all the comments, but I did see someone left a comment about a Batman cape on the short with the Loki magazine. I really am hoping we get Magneto in a magazine, because I don't think they're going to re-release him in another set. And I think that's true for most of the Rubber Cape minifigures. It's interesting. Lego tend to only make elements that they are going to reuse. So these Rubber Capes have been reused. I mean, Loki and Magneto share the same mold. The 2 Batmans share the same mold. So they're making use of the mold, but it would be interesting to see other minifigures with it. I am so looking forward to getting like a Darth Vader minifigure. It's hard with a helmet, but perhaps we can get a Darth Vader minifigure with that cape. The Emperor's got a hood, Vader's got a helmet. It's going to be hard to do. Maybe some Jedi next year for Revenge of the Sith could come with the cape. It'll be interesting to see what Lego decide to do going forward, because these Rubber Capes are definitely, they are very hit and miss. Some people like them, some people don't, and I think Lego are dealing with that quite well in terms of not just flat out replacing capes, but there's a lot Lego is switching up, and we've got the capes, we've got the pupils, we've got certain other things as well, stylistic choices in the mock building, or just generally in some of their sets. This is probably a bit cold by now. Not that bad. Also, I don't mind a cold drink. I tend to completely forget about it for about an hour and a half, pushing 2 hours at this point. Let it go cold, and it's just like drinking a chocolate bar that's cold but runny. It's nothing like drinking a chocolate bar, but chocolate bar would be solid at this point. But it's interesting seeing how Lego are growing. I like not everything Lego do. I will admit there are certain things that I probably don't talk about that I probably should do a video on, like I said with the Marvel sets, about I'm not a fan of them releasing expensive sets December the 1st. And through my eyes, I know Lego haven't done this on purpose. I know this isn't a malicious attempt by Lego, but they are picking on the older relatives that are buying these sets specifically for their children, and it's not a lot. It's not a good look on Lego. It is a bit. I do see it as them doing it on purpose because they know that they're going to sell before Christmas, which is why they release them. But like I said, again, this is not me attacking Lego. I'd still like Lego. It's just a dodgy call that hasn't lined up for them as a business. But it's interesting seeing, oh, hello there, never too old for Lego. Now that is a awesome username, by the way. That is very, very true. You are never too old for Lego. That is a really cool name. But it's something that Lego have had to sit down and looked, okay, the movie's coming out next February. When can we release these sets? They're a bit pricey. I'm sure Lego are aware of the priciness of their Lego sets because, yeah, Lego as a business, you know, still has to balance the books at the end of the day and make sure with all the money they're giving away. And so much Lego do. It doesn't get mentioned, but Lego have so many make and takes and so many promotional events and so many things where they don't charge. Last year for World Play Day, I went to an interactive escape room, which was all Lego themed, really, really amazing. And they didn't charge for it. We got to take away a fish that we created. We got to take away a plaque that we made whilst we were waiting. And we could have put it on the wall as well. We did, we got a photo of it, and then we took it home because, well, it was just a nice part to take away with us. It's not anything, you know, expensive, exclusive and that, but there were printed parts, unique printed parts sometimes for the most part. A few reused, like the compass from over in Minecraft. But there are some really cool events that Lego put on that do go under the radar for a lot of people complaining on the internet about certain sets. So Lego as a company, I'm sure, perhaps if they stopped making take sets would be a bit more affordable. I don't think it would be that much though. I think we're looking at £1 or £2 across a few of the cheaper sets. But they are doing a lot of good things. There's just some other things we would like to see, especially as fans that have been fans for quite some time. I mean, I'm sure some of you have probably even outlived my Lego collecting, but I've been collecting Lego. We had a little look on a previous video this year, almost 20 years, which is the most of my lifetime. So it's interesting how their pricing works, and perhaps being a business myself, especially with the instructions and that, it's something that I will get to understand as we go on. But I still don't think I'll ever get behind sets like the new Marvel sets being so expensive. That's also a good point. Again, never too old for Lego said what they don't understand. Big stores sell their Lego sets that are not selling to discount stores, and they can sell them for, you know, they can take cuts for certain things and certain sales. But a lot of stores I've started to notice, any official Lego store, unofficial, sorry, Lego stores are selling them for more than retail price, and sometimes they're holding on to a bunch of sets and selling them for more. There was a Transformers set, which was, I think originally that was like £180 or whatever. It's selling for 120 now, but it was 150, £180. And Lego reduced it. I mean, pre-orders still got charged the full amount, but Lego must have reduced this like a month in or a few weeks, 2-3 weeks in to it being released. Yet no other store here in the UK that I was aware of. We're looking at the big ones like Smiths. I absolutely love Smiths. But for quite a few months, they were still selling it at the original price, knowing full well Lego would have had to have notified them of the price change. I don't know if they would have, because it's been released already. So maybe it was just a bit of lag for Smiths to catch on. But someone like Smiths, who's always on it with the prices, still for quite a few weeks, months, had it at that original price, which was just way too much money. But it's, yeah, I think if Lego, you saw it in the, you see people talking about it that were collecting Lego in the early 2000s, just the bargain bins of all these sets that weren't selling. But if they can do that to sets that aren't selling and still get a little profit, why can't they do that to sets that are selling? You think that the more a set will sell, the more it will go on sale, but it's never that way around. If they're selling a bunch of sets, so for instance, the Tantive board in diorama is a really good example of this, because I think it has been the case. Tantive board in diorama, I bought day one because I knew, well, I guess I didn't know. I had a good feeling that it would be at least 20% off in a few months, especially because it was just before May the 4th, and I think it actually went on sale for May the 4th. So yeah, maybe I could have waited a little bit, but it was a really cool set. I wanted that day one because I wanted to show my support for Lego. Same really with the Ahsoka diorama. If it would have come out for about £40, because there's just not as much as the Tantive board in diorama there. I think a lot of pieces go into the base, and I will be surprised when I build that. But if that come out for 40, even £45, honestly, I probably would have picked it up for £45. I'd have picked it up day one because I like that set. But it come out for £50. That's too expensive. But the Tantive board and diorama I picked up, that was day one. I loved the set. It was a price I was happy with. So I was happy to spend that. And then what you saw come May was it go down to £40. It went down slightly after May at Argos. It went down to £30 or £35. Pretty sure it was £30, 40% off. It's almost half price. For the Tantive board in diorama, it must have been selling super well, because you didn't really see many complaints, especially for that Fives minifigure. I should have picked up another one when it was at that £30-35 mark. But it is very, very interesting to see what Lego sets actually go on sale. You'd think the more sets that they sell, the more sales they'll have. It's usually the other way around. There's only sales if they don't sell it. Lego, of course, Lego, coming from Lego itself, be in the business, are only going to put sets on sale when they have a lot of stock towards the end. Besides promotional discounts, this is like retiring soon sorts of sales. We only usually see sales on Lego.com when they are retiring. However, during May 4th, if you look on Insiders, again, Insiders is free. You get a few different promotions. I don't think there's really too many for Star Wars outside of May 4th. But then the Ghost, we'll get back to building the Goat in a minute, and we'll probably build another 2 or 3. We might overrun this stream, go past 12, but the Ghost ship that I have just up here, hopefully I can bring this down without dropping it, but it's live, so I'll get a good clip out of it. Either way, this ship here, £150. I picked it up for £60, maybe £70, £60, but that was using some Insiders points that I had with a £50 off voucher, or a 3% off, a 3% car on Lego Insiders. And that was just for a random day in, I want to say that was pretty recent. I want to say it was like September or something. It was probably a lot longer ago. It might have even been around May, maybe June time, perhaps. Perhaps it was some sort of summer holiday event. A third of this ship with all the minifigures that come in it and all the different pieces. It's got a fully flushed out interior, meaning this middle strip. Okay, there's no room in the sides, but there's not that much room anyway. And to get something like this for a third off and then be able to use your Insiders points, you also claim, I think, like 5% back. So even though this cost me £100 in points and whatnot, I then got £5 back in points, as well as spending like almost 40. I think it might have even been about half price. I don't think I ever had anywhere near £40 worth in points, but that was a really, really good deal. And it's another set, 150, slightly expensive. Had this been 120 like the ATTE, I definitely would have picked it up day one, which is what I don't think I picked up the ATTE day one technically. I think this was before I was making Lego content, I think, on the platform. So I don't know how much of this is covered, but the ATTE, I was at a Lego store day one to see it. Amazing set, come with Commander Cody. It was gonna be a grab for sure. But then it was actually a trip to Warner Brothers Harry Potter World, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is an attraction here in the UK, in just outside of London. Really, really fun time. And it was on the way back from that. It's in Watford, I think. And there was a Smith's Toys Superstore nearby. Of course, I cannot resist a Smith's. Had to go in. ended up picking it up for, I'm pretty sure, almost full price. Maybe there was a quick sale. Maybe it was like reduced to £100 or £90. Pretty sure I paid about £100 for it, £120 set. And I had to pick it up. Just could not pass on it a second time. It's only taken me about 2 hours, but I finally finished it. Unlike the Ghost, the Goat. I did finish the Ghost. Didn't finish the Ghost. Let's get back to that. If anyone is chiming in, because we've currently got 20 viewers, it's saying. I'm not sure if that is viewers or if that's people in general, because usually we only have a handful. But however many of you are here, thank you for chiming in. We've built the guinea pig. We are building the goat. As you can see, I'm using some slope pieces on the side. I might try and off balance them just a little bit. Maybe we can get some studs in here so that I can make it look less like a coat and more like a coat of fur or something like that. I don't know what one wise I have a lot of. Maybe the dark brown will work. Again, next week there'll be a close-up for the desk so you can actually see what I am building. I'm really enjoying these conversations we're having in the chat, because Lego's an expensive hobby. And I appreciate telling your story. Never toured for Lego. They said they've been doing Lego for 10 months and they're 46, which is why they picked that name. That makes the name even better now that I know that. But the Lego is expensive. You can never be too old, but you can definitely be too young for it, I think, with some of the prices that are coming out. But with the with the sets, that's I guess everything's expensive. They collect Never Toiled for Lego, just for people that are watching this on demand and might not be able to see the chat. It doesn't go up until like 24 hours afterwards, which is why I'm breaking down everything in the chat. If you did wonder, have over 4,000 Transformers. Oh. Got into Lego because someone sent the Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is a really cool, and the Bumblebee, actually, I really like how the Bumblebee transformed. I was curious to see how that would work with the Bumblebee because of how much smaller it is than Optimus. And I know Optimus is quite a bulky build compared to some of like the fan models. I've tried to build them. I was at some point, and I might still build a Lego Star Wars Transformer on the channel. It was going to be an X-Wing and then Vader's TIE Advance. Vader's TIE Advance is going to be so complicated. I think I'll start off with the X-Wing, inspired by the X-Wing mech, actually. Just haven't got round to finishing it. One of the many products. In the first stream, I went through all the projects, even that I haven't completed. One of which that I forgot was the murals, which is down here. I did a video ages ago on this 2-in-1 mural. We've got Ahsoka one side and Grievous the other side. I've tried to order the spare parts. I think I have a handful. I probably fill in a few more gaps, but it's going to be so expensive. We're looking at like £100 and something just to fill this side of it. And I was going to make it available on Rubricable. I'll still probably do that eventually. But you're looking at hundreds of pounds just for all the slope elements. And the problem is finding them in as few locations as possible, because they're, well, not many people sell loads and loads of slopes unless they've been recently made available on the the Pick a Brick Wall, which, you know, there are a few slopes, but they tend to be more translucent yellows, oranges, and them sort of slope colors. So Great Snow Blizzard picked up an ATTE from Costco, discounted to $165 due to the box being damaged. That's not half bad. With the damaged box sales at Lego themselves, I've only been to one store and seen damaged box sales. I know Brixie, every time he's at a Lego store, I watch the video almost purely for two things: the Pick a Brick Wall and the damaged box sales. And he doesn't disappoint. There's some really good sets, and you get like 50 Canadian dollars back, which I think isn't as much as 50 quid by any means, but you know, it does sound really, really nice, especially in Canadian dollars. But I've only seen damaged boxes once at Blue Water. I've only been Blue Water once. Blue Water Lego store, and that was just to get the stamp mostly, because that is quite a bit out of my way. But the damaged boxes, it was around Christmas time, and there were no Christmas sets on there. and I don't remember if it made my Blue Water video. I don't know if I made a full video or just made a short about it, because the reason we were going there is they turned an escalator into a slide. Honestly, it was amazing. Oh, excuse me. It was an amazing day out. And it's another thing Lego did completely free. You didn't have to pay for it. You just went down a slide that used to be an escalator and then come up the other side to go back down the slide again. It was really, really fun. But there's no really good damage box sales whilst I was there. None that I thought I'd pick up. There's probably a few that I'd probably pick up now, looking back on it, especially some of the themed sets. But there weren't any Star Wars or anything like that. Never Too Old for Lego is going to make a massive 4 by 8 foot mosaic. Yeah, good luck with that, because some of the parts, I think the big thing with my one that I was doing, the reason it was so expensive is because of these are all my 1x1 slopes that I've got left from that. I think originally I filled both sides of one of these drawers with them, so you can see just how much it used. But because I'm using slopes, and because I'm specifically using, I'll get it back out because you could see like the orange colored slopes for Ahsoka and a lot of white ones for Grievous. Grievous is just pure white. You get away with light gray and a few others. But because of all the colorful slopes that it is using, you can see Grievous's eye there and where all the different gaps are in his mechanical bits. It would look really, really cool. But my big problem was the fact that I used slopes. If I did this in 1x1s, I've seen a lot of people most people use studs because that's what Lego uses. But 1x1 plates, these square ones, I think in certain colors are even cheaper than the round 1x1 studs. I know up close it does look a bit better, and it also gives a bit more fluidity rather than just a typical mosaic made using square studs. And I think the Mosaic Maker actually might use square studs, but that's in monochrome. I believe that's black and white, unless that's another non-Lego thing. But yeah, the 1x1 square ones are sometimes cheaper, maybe using a mixture of, you know, Lego elements, finding whatever you can for cheap, because we've got square 1x1 plates, 1x1 rounds. The space art set is a really, really cool one, and I'll definitely check that out, because although maps, yes, Never Too Old bought 3 Never Too Old for Lego. Never Too Old, that is quite a nice name as well. Just bought 3 Lego maps because, I mean, for Risk it's perfect, but even just because of all the colors on the maps and the different colors they've used to create the land, the water, because it's not just, you know, the one shade of green, one shade of blue. That is a really nice piece for building any art set. There's someone on Shorts that builds a ton of different art for different like celebrities and that level of art, and they're really good designs. So I can't remember who it is now, and I don't really follow many people that show up in Shorts because I know that I'll just scroll long enough till they pop up again. But if I can find out who they are by making the next video, I'll probably tag them, or when I next find them I'll probably share a short of theirs, because it's really, really good content over there. But it is interesting, all the art stuff, because that is something that recently, I mean, having been on Lego Ideas last year, it's a big section of that, all the different art styles and that. But it's something that, as far as Lego sets are concerned, has only popped up pretty recently, but it's popped up in a big way. It's a bit like Space this year. We spoke last week about Space this year, and next year's got an F1 deal, so what that means for the themes in next year. And definitely check that out if you are interested in Formula One, because I think there could be some big things for Formula One, and specifically Lego sets next year across City. Technic was the one that was the theme that I missed out on last week that we couldn't remember. And we've also got City, Friends, Technic, and Creative/Creator. There's technically some Creator 3-in-1s as well. So we're looking at 5 themes that could possibly be completely overtaken by F1 next year. So I personally, not a massive F1 fan, but I'm still really looking forward to it. And back to the art sets. The Star Wars ones never really interested me. I don't think I'm a big art person personally, but I like the idea of them being 3-in-1s and creating different artwork, and then you can mix. I think three Star Wars ones made Vader, three DC ones made a big Batman, and didn't 3 Marvel ones make Iron Man? But that was the horizontal one, I think, or that might have just been a mock. And there's a few other different mocks I've seen over on Rubricable and other platforms. But they're really fun sets, and maybe one day I will, if they release another Star Wars one that's like Clone Wars themed. I always wanted to build the giant 3-in-1 Ahsoka one because I thought that would look really cool, and I've seen like a Grievous one as well that could go really well with that. But maybe one day we'll build art sets on the channel. Maybe one day we can make our own, because I've always wanted to do a banner for the channel for Master Mold. I saw Brixie do one ages ago which sort of inspired it, but I never really knew what we'd do about it because my banner's always been different. But we'll have to come up with some design over the next couple of years, and just maybe not in here, there's not really any room. Maybe we can make a little one above the door that I could show off in a few videos, and that could be, to be fair, the banner of the channel at some point. I'll keep it in mind, but I definitely want to get into some art sets. That does look fun. If they're continuing the trend of vehicles, 2026 Lego could be about trains. We haven't got many trains recently, and there's a big section at the Lego house, I think, about trains. That could be interesting because we've got trains everywhere, really. We've seen trains in Star Wars. What's a famous train they could do from Star Wars? We got the one in The Mandalorian, the little train that took Mando and Bo in that funky episode. I don't think many people would be happy if that become a set. I'm sure there's a popular train. We've got the Clone Wars train, and we could get the Jedi Master that teaches Ahsoka. I'm rubbish with names, by the way. I'm not going to remember the name. If anyone knows it in the comments, feel free to point it out. But we can get the DeLorean. That's the one that I'm building to. The DeLorean train would be a really cool icon/ideas set. There's a few famous trains out there. We can get some Thomas sets because we got this year, I think, Peppa Pig sets, so they could introduce Thomas. Thomas has already been a part of Duplo, but we could get some more Thomas sets. Perhaps a Lego Ideas Thomas the train set. I don't know how many collectors would get a Big Thomas. Big Thomas would look cool. Hogwarts Express. I think trains is just a big part of Lego anyway. A bit like parrots. We get a load of parrots year in, year out. If you wondered how the goat is coming along, the slopes make it look really, really cool. We've just got to work on the face. And I think rather than adding a little slope using a bracket. And again, hopefully by next week, we will have a close-up camera so you can see all of this a little bit better. Maybe we can give it a little dirty, scruffy beard of some kind and have something looking a bit like this. That looks a bit weird. It looks like it's got two legs out the front. But I am aiming, the last 2 weeks have been a lot. It's been heavy breaking down sets, which I won't be breaking these down on stream. I'll do that in my own time. But I do want to be building more. As I said, next week we are going to be building the Minecraft world, which it's been a long time since we took a look at that. So it'll be interesting to see what's changed, what we do differently, and perhaps I can link the video at some point to the last Minecraft video, or if you just search Master Moldy Minecraft, I'm sure it'll pop up so you can catch up by next stream. The Great Snow Blizzard, we'll have a drinks break and then we'll get to that comment. It would be a really good set, to be fair. It would be. Great Snow Blizzard said, I think the train on the Malevolence would be a good one. And it genuinely would in Clone Wars, where they jump around. The Jedi I was mentioning earlier is Terra Sinube. We really need a minifigure of Terra Sinube. But there's so many other Clone Wars characters that I think we could benefit from getting in a Lego set or something. I think it's just too hard to pick from sometimes. But it'd be really cool to see them. I'm not sure if this goat scruff is going to work. Maybe we can swap out the 1x2s for some cheese slopes, because that looked good on the front. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Maybe I can autofocus, or I can just drop the whole thing and start from scratch. But there are quite a few Star Wars trains. I hope Lego starts making transition to Soundwave. Soundwave is in the Transformer. I'm a bit rough on my Transformers. But Soundwave's the plane. I think I remember Soundwave, because I think they should keep making the keep the Transformers going, keep the Fast and Furious, what are they called? Speed Champions going, keep them themes going, and a few other things. We're getting a few things returning. Apparently, Simpsons is meant to be returning next year. I don't really know to what effect, whether it will be a third wave of CMF, whether there'll be a few different sets. But of course, Simpsons falls under that Disney umbrella, so I'm sure there'll be really awesome sets no matter what it is. Maybe they release a very expensive Simpsons set December the 1st to line up with the Captain America sets this year. But in all seriousness, I am excited to see what the Simpsons does. I have a few of the second wave, I think, of CMFs, but that is Transformers is something, because they've only done Optimus and Bumblebee, but Lego have only recently acquired, and I think they don't have the license for Transformers. They have the license for those specific sets. Optimus Prime was an Icon set, so it's sort of a one-off, and then they come back for Bumblebee. Optimus must have been so popular that they come back for Bumblebee. But it is... your voice is cutting in and out. It's probably my end. I don't know if it's the internet, if it's... The mic seems to be all good, my end, but it probably is the internet connection, my end, if anything. Hopefully, again, we can fix that. So Never Too Old for Lego has built a Grimlock, a Soundwave, and Shockwave, Jazz, Bumblebee, Megatron. There are so many Transformers they can do. I mean, just walking through Smiths, normally the Star Wars figures are after... You've got Transformers. I don't know what line of Transformers figures they have, but then you have the Hasbro Marvel Legends and the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series. I think Transformers might be Hasbro, which is why we don't get too many. It might not be, but I know Creo for a long time owned the license to Transformers. I had a handful of Creo sets, and if you do like Lego Transformers, I mean, you might have heard. If you've only just got into Lego, you might not know, but Creo have done a load of Transformers sets, a few different style of minifigures and elements that are in the set, but for the most part, you might be able to build a few of them using Lego bricks. So if you are able to find Creo instructions out there on the internet, I don't have any of my old instructions, I'm afraid. Otherwise, I'd send them your way. But if you can find the Creo instructions, definitely give some of them a build, because they are a bit more... A few of the ones were a bit smaller. I think there was a giant Bumblebee that we had at some point, which was a really cool build, and slightly bigger. It was the one from the movies, slightly bigger than the Lego version. Really, really interesting build. Not as secure as Lego, a bit more fragile, but it was really, really fun to build. And the minifigures for it, you actually got quite a few minifigures. I don't know if I've still got any of the figures. Perhaps I could show them off at some point on the channel, but they are quite interesting builds. But nothing you'd get through Lego. It would be nice to see. We've got Speed Champions. We literally have a line dedicated to cars. Why have they not done... I'm going to have to go down this rabbit hole after the stream now and see why we don't have an Optimus Prime Speed Champions or any of that, because they have a whole theme for cars, and we've got like a few Fast and Furious ones. I do hope we get a few more Fast and Furious. We've only got Fast and Furious and 2 Fast 2 Furious. One for every movie could be good. Puts a little cap on it, but still gets us a lot. But why we haven't got any Transformers in Speed Champions is beyond me. I don't really know why we haven't. It is very, very interesting that we haven't got any of them. What color eyes should we give our go? I think as far as Speed Champions goes, there's so many. I mean, we've got like a DeLorean icons or ideas set. I think that's an ideas. We've got an Ecto 1. I don't think we've seen either the DeLorean or the Ecto 1 in Speed Champions either. They definitely need to add more. Maybe at the minute, I don't think Fast would have an exclusive. All right, we need that bit. I don't think Fast would have an exclusive, any exclusive rights or anything like that over the Speed Champions sets. But there might be something that means I don't really know. The business side of Lego is always something that confuses me, and as someone who makes videos on Lego for the best of a living, yeah, it's something that I don't think I'll ever get the hang of, but I'll probably understand a little more as we go on, making more videos, seeing what Lego do. There's patterns you pick up, but it's something that right now I have no idea why Lego do what they do, and I'm just here building cute little zoo animals on a live stream. But it's a very, very fun conversation because there are so many on not just Rubricable. Rubricable is great for mocks, and some of them do cost, but I tend to stay away from any of the ones. I mean, I don't think I've bought instructions on Rubricable to date. I tend to stick with the free ones, but I tend to stick to the cheaper instructions, if any, because I guess you're losing less if they turn out to be a bit funky. But I think you've got Rubricable, you've got ideas as well, which don't have instructions. I'm sure technically, according to the rules, you're not meant to give out instructions to ideas sets. You're meant to keep them private and only hand them over to Lego if you do end up hitting all the milestones. But technically, there's nothing stopping anyone contacting the original maker and trying to get, like an early test of instructions, or perhaps sending over the model itself and arranging something like that. But again, I suppose technically it's breaking rules, but at the same point, the rules over there are a bit, they're still fairly new, I think, is the thing with it. But anyway, we have ideas. There are a few good instructions over there. Oh no, it's not what we want. So definitely check out ideas with Rubricable. And yeah, the Creo actually being a non-Lego set, not being as big as Lego, they go for quite some money, some of the older sets. A bit surprising. But hopefully we see more Transformers, we see more pop culture sets. I think more pop culture sets is something that we must get. Well, we get a lot of, but we must get, some more of, because there's definitely so many different themes and so many different everythings that they could do. And honestly, the biggest problem with it is trying to get the licenses for them. That's the hardest part that Lego have to deal with, because once they have the licenses for half of these themes, they can just about make anything that they want to, really, especially with Lego bricks. It's fairly simple. Well, it's not easy to design a set. I haven't designed a few mocks for myself, and you can see it doesn't always hold up to Lego. It's not simple, but once they've got the license, it's a lot easier to design sets than it would be without the license, that's for sure. I'm not quite sure how we're going to go about the eyes of this goat, because I do want them to look a little bit forward. So perhaps we can get something like, and again, there is a question up. I don't know if I get notified of the answers, actually. There is a Q&A up in the chat. What animal should I build next? If you want to see any sort of animal, I'll try to relate it to my visit and try to make sure I have an image of them, but I am open to all of your answers. Can I make a jackalope? What is a jackalope? I cannot say that I have heard of that. It sounds like I don't know what it sounds like. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Oh, it looks like a rabbit. It looks like a rabbit reindeer. Oh, yeah, I can't say I've heard of a jackalope. That is... Well, we can build a rabbit and we can build a reindeer. Perhaps I can mix and match a few of these. I've just seen your answer. I know it was probably some time ago, so I apologize for that. But yeah, definitely, once we build the goat, we'll build a rabbit, we'll build a reindeer, and then we'll take the horns off the reindeer, build it onto the rabbit, and jackalope. Yeah, cannot say I've ever heard of that before. That is an interesting... I don't know if they are related to rabbits. Let me just go back. For anyone wondering what a jackalope looks like, I will have an image pop up on screen any second now. Again, hopefully I can be a bit more smooth. Oh, it is up on screen. I don't know if you can see it. It's just up there. I don't know if you can see that. I will probably try to make it a bit bigger. Not the greatest of images, but there is a jackalope, a rabbit with antlers, I think. Again, I don't know if this is real. This could be a mythical. It looks quite mythical, but it looks fun nonetheless. The antlers here are definitely edited on, but I really like the idea of maybe just giving, or maybe a guinea pig with horns would look quite amusing as well. Anyway, try and get back to the goat that's stuck in the fence. Oh no, the image is massive. I should have shrunk down the other image before adding it on, but we can. There you go. That's the goat right here on the screen that I am trying to build, and maybe I can have a few of these preloaded for the next stream's Minecraft. So I don't think we will be, but that's the goat we are trying to build, and we will be building a fence for it. Thank you to everyone who's sticking around while I'm messing around with these images, by the way, because I know it's not the greatest of streams, but we will get there. We will get there eventually. All right, Jackalope is on coming up on the coming soon list. So as far as the ears go, I actually quite like this design. As far as the ears go for the goat, they tend to stick up and out. Maybe I'm using the wrong sort of slopes, but I don't quite know how we're going to get that off with Lego without using. There's probably a few other pieces. I'll have a check in a minute. So Great Snow Blizzard just remembered to ask, they know the instruction channels are restricted to higher tier, but are the other channels available for the lower membership tier? If you're speaking about the bonus videos on YouTube and Discord, Discord is open right now, but Discord is open for all tiers we have over on the Discord. We have a fun zone, which includes a little talking. Let's talk. Doesn't have to be Lego. It can be a slightly off topic, but it is still a Lego Discord. It's probably going to be mostly Lego. Share your Lego. That's available to everyone. Basically, everything you can see when you sign up for memberships should be available. I'm not sure if you can see any of the locked ones. The only ones that should be locked behind the higher tiers is the instructions, the decals. I think even the mock instruction help and decal help is still available to everyone, just in case there are any problems over on Rebrickable or in the videos with any screenshots that I put up. And I think Bricklink should be made available to everyone as well. So everyone at the lower tier does get access to the fun zone, rumors and releases, including all the future magazines, and also the free instructions, which I do sometimes. I am generous enough to give a few extra instructions available to everyone. Sometimes they're also made free on Rebrickable, but I know Rebrickable has slightly harder. You've still got to tick a few boxes before you can upload a free thing to Rebrickable. If it's simple enough and most people can build it just by looking at it, they tend to not allow you to upload instructions. I think because I have uploaded so many now, it's not a problem. And there's been a few hiccups with Rebrickable in the past. I don't have any qualms with them. There's just, as a business is. But in terms of free instructions, you do get it's titled free instructions, which is why I keep calling them free instructions. You still got to pay for the membership, but you get free instructions after you pay. So I'll double check that, because I think the welcome's available to everyone, but I'll double check that all the channels are set up, because I know I have to re-update the invite every month or so. I think there's also, we had a problem with the first member actually, that you had to connect your YouTube to Discord, which I'll be honest, I had enough trouble doing that myself. But if you Google how to set it up, there's usually a easy to follow instructions, and make sure your YouTube and Discord are paired, because Discord actually uses YouTube to check you are a member. It helps filter out any non-members and that down the line. I think once you stop becoming a member, you might still have access for a little bit to the Discord and that. I tend not to kick people out just in case they're unaware that it's unrun, that it's run out, or if they want to join back later. But I will double check that for you, just to check it's not on my end, because again, the Discord is only starting. I think we have currently 6 or 7 members. It's the most we've had on the channel. We are so close to 8 concurrent members, and we unlock a few other things like emojis and that here on the channel. So here's to 8 members, maybe sometime soon. Thank you to everyone as well that's sticking around. You'll notice a few different colored studs in the chat and comments of certain videos. I always forget how long it is, but when you check out the membership, you can see all the different colored studs and then eventually bricks. Once you get around to like a year of memberships, you unlock specific colored bricks. And I think, again, that will just grow. The longer we are here on the channel, I will have to invent different colored bricks, studs, and everything for the longer subscribed members. But definitely check out the membership. So many perks. And yeah, I will double check with the Discord, but double check that your YouTube is connected, because I think that's what it uses for verification. I'll probably add that onto the memberships as well, just to make sure everyone else is aware. We are coming up to 12 o'clock. I'm going to build a goat, a rabbit, a reindeer, and then probably call it a day after that. As for the eyes of the goat, are fairly straightforward. What I am using are these 1x1 round studs. I don't think I'm going to get it to focus, but with the bent bar coming out of them, and that will get the eyes sticking out forward. And then hopefully we can get, maybe we got to go a bit longer with the, maybe we got to go a bit longer with the ears. Maybe not this long with the ears. This is a bit too long, but something like that. Or I have a whole drawer dedicated to a bunch of random pieces. And I think smaller ears in this case would be better. We're looking at a dark gray. I've got a metallic gray. Maybe we'll go with light gray to match the little ruffs on the chin of the goat. But we got these little ears sticking out. Oh, look at that, just above the eyes again. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. My hand's not going to change anything. It's still going to look out, but you'll get a close up. I've used little teeth, 1x1 with the teeth sticking out as the ears. And again, I will show close-ups in tomorrow's video. Rather than stream highlights, we're going to be doing, sorry for everyone that's here, I'm just repeating myself now, but rather than doing a stream highlights video, we're going to do a video taking a look at these and a few of the images from the zoo, as well as the ones you can see on screen whilst we are building. You know what? I do think we are missing a slope probably on top of the goat's head, but I think that's a solid goat. And now we will move on to, is that all good now? Great Snow Blizzard. Oh, yep, it was the connecting of my account to Discord. Hopefully that solves it all. You can view them all. And I don't know if you can view the higher tiers, because I just private them and select them to different accounts. But I hope you can access everything in Discord. And again, we'll be growing it as we get more people. Hopefully, as it becomes more active as well. I do want to start opening it up to the public, to the general public, and get a few of the basic. Won't get anything like the rumors and releases, but just to get a feel for the Discord, maybe an open channel where anyone can post. Very, very dangerous, especially early days on, where we only have myself and my partner, who's the moderator of the Discord. But I'll definitely look at something for everyone else. But hopefully that solved any Discord problems, and I will remember to update that. You know what? We got a whiteboard. I'm going to use it. And hopefully I will remember to update the instructions when people join, so that they remember to link their YouTube, because it's something that, well, I suppose if you don't use Discord, you might not really know, but YouTube are coming out with an update that hopefully will fix that after this drink break. As I did say, I was going to stop announcing it, and I know not everyone goes for a drink break. So out of how many people? We got 5 people in the chat. I wonder how many people actually went for an advertisement. But I do like being able to manually put them in when I stop talking, rather than having YouTube mid-conversation just spring an ad, and especially if it's a long unskippable one. Not very great for watching this stream. But for the, what were we going to be talking about with Discord, the animals? All right. Completely forgot. So let's move on to, I said rabbit or rabbit. I'll tell you what, we'll go with a rabbit. I quite like the image of this rabbit here. A nice fluffy ball of a rabbit. Download that. We've done, for anyone that has just joined in, because I've just seen it pop up a few, we've done a guinea pig. There's the rabbit. We've done a goat. We're moving on to a rabbit. Hopefully we can get this done fairly quickly, because it is all one color. And then we're moving on to a reindeer. Actually, I already have a reindeer somewhere. Maybe I can steal the horns for that and add that to the rabbit. We haven't finished the goat. Oh, look at that. I haven't added the eyes to the goat. What color? Should we give the goat printed eyes. I think that might look a bit funny if we give the goat some printed eyes, but we're going to grab maybe some black studs just to finish off the goat so that it can see where it's going. I think goats usually have quite dark eyes. This seems to work. There we go. The goat does have some eyes on it now. But guinea pig, goat, you can actually see them just at the bottom of your screen. Let's bed them in some bricks there. And now on to the black rabbit. So we're going to need to grab some bricks. Also, another thing, I know I said I'd do a future video on it, but look how clean this looks with all my 2x4s and 2x6 bricks. Again, most of these are used in mocks elsewhere, but the fact that they can stand up, I actually 3D printed, or I don't know if I'll be able to show you, but I actually 3D printed in red some custom base plates that fit in this straw. It's so much easier than trying to tub them up, or it's just so much easier than trying to, especially because of the little tubs. I think originally I just had dividers down the middle, but these enable the different strips of colors, nice rainbow pattern going up and down without having to then add some dividers and take up so much more room, because I can actually get my 2x6s down, whereas before I only had about space for, I could probably squeeze a 2x4 because I was using cardboard dividers, which were quite thick. But should probably also put some of these away, but for now I'm just gonna stack them up out of the camera and make sure we've got a clear desk to build the rabbit. A few other creatures that had quite funny names that I couldn't remember. I think the skunk that we saw, a bit harder to build than a rabbit, was called Cody, which was quite nice as a Clone Wars fan. And there was also a raccoon that was named Rocket, which I thought we had a video on. There were 2 raccoons, and I was convinced that was Rocket until one of the zookeepers walked past not long after I said it, probably overheard, and told us it was actually the other raccoon, not Rocket. So we didn't get to see Rocket Raccoon, but there was a raccoon there named Rocket. Rabbits tend to have quite a fluffy tail, and I don't really know how we can go about doing that in Lego. I mean, probably slopes. Everything seems to be fixed with a few slopes, but it's the how for slopes that is the fun part. Maybe we can even make it a light grey fluffy tail. Something a bit different to what we would regularly do. Maybe we can use a snot brick and a slope. Now this rabbit is curled up almost like it was sleeping. It was moving a little bit, but it probably was a bit tired, because this is getting towards the end of the day, I think, when we took an image of this rabbit, and it probably was tired from all the running around it was doing the rest of the day. So we don't need to build any legs for it, but it does have quite a not a bulky build by any means. We are not body shaming this rabbit now, but it is quite a nice round, soft pillow like shape. So I think what we could do, similar to the ghost, have I broken down the ghost yet? I think I've broken down the ghost, but what we did for the ghost, as a short about it, is we got the suns suddenly decided to come out by the looks. But what we did for the ghost was grab these bonnets of cars and use that to round it off. Watch the brightness just drop. There we go. Make sure I'm not blinding anyone. We use these pieces here, which are bonnets of cars from Lego City, and from quite a few themes actually have probably used these. And these give it a nice rounded off look without making it square. I tried to use these in the AAT when I was building that, and they just weren't working whatsoever. But I think for the rabbit, these work. They keep with that 2 brick wide. And again, hopefully when we're building mocks in the future, we can build a bit less basic than, you know, creator animals. But as we only have 2 hours here, and I'm not going to be building anything once this, or I don't think I'll be building anything once this stream ends, I thought we'd go with a simpler design, simpler way of building, just to be able to complete these in what was going to be 2 hours. We've just hit the 2 hour mark, so a little over that, but honestly, I'm not concerned or anything for it. There's not much else to be doing on a Monday. I set all the time aside for these streams and have really enjoyed streaming the last few weeks. We are halfway through our streams of 2024, which is crazy to think about, but we've still got like 8 weeks left of the year, so we're not that close to Christmas just yet. I think there's 7 weeks till Christmas, which is absolutely crazy. Yesterday we got down these Christmas decorations. It weren't quite November the 1st because it was a Friday. I had quite a bit to film, and then Saturday we were out at the zoo, hence the zoo animals for this video. And then yesterday I had so much planned. It gets to the end of the year and suddenly I don't know what it is, but I just want to get everything done. I was trying to 3D print, I think the biggest project I have on my computer so far. It didn't go too well, and I will be retrying it again later this week, but that didn't go well. Fortnite had an update on Saturday, but we were out, so I left that update in yesterday, and that took a lot longer than it probably should have. But there was some issues with that, actually. It's not too long an update. I haven't played it yet. If you aren't aware, I did build a mock for the last season of Fortnite. Really enjoyed it. Kind of inspired by Mr. Saurus and Holly, who I linked their videos at the end because they were really good builds as well. Just seeing everyone build something from Fortnite, I had to get in on the action. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Oh, we could build something. It's a bit technical. I think we give it a go. I know we're running up the clock mark, but how can we go about this? What I'm trying to do is, if we add a little angle to these bonnets on the side, what we can do is add like a 1x3 inverted, make the bunny even wider than we already are by adding the bonnet. We don't want to make it too wide and make it seem like a ball. And like I said, we still are building one more creature after this. One more animal. Creature sounds not as nice as animal does, but if we can find some inverted slopes, which I think I've got 2 of, so we can use 2 grey. I wonder if we'll be able to close these in. Thank you to everyone that is still sticking around. We have a handful of viewers. Yeah. So we updated, for those of you that aren't aware, the moderator is my fiance, and we both updated our games for Fortnite. The sun's out again. It needs to make up its mind. Maybe I can just leave the brightness low off. But we both updated the games at the same time, and there we go. I'll leave it off. If it starts flickering, then I'll put it back on. But we both updated our games at the same time. Mine updated, well, mine didn't update, and then I tried to run it without Epic Games and like update it elsewhere. Epic Games do not like you running any of their games without Epic Games, so it actually wiped off my computer. So I needed to re-download the 50 gigabyte game and the 40 gigabyte update, which is absurd. I remember when Fortnite with the update was like 40-50 gigs, but I know it does clean it on the computer. Either way, it's a lot. And we are building the jackalope. What I'm going to do is build a rabbit or a hare, probably closer to the scale of a hare. I mean, our guinea pig and goat are the same size. I'm going to build the rabbit, build the reindeer, and then give the reindeer's horns to the rabbit, hence building the jackalope. Perhaps we can build it standing up a bit more for the jackalope, but we will build a jackalope to end out the video, and I'll make sure we don't have any other animals. Perhaps we can end this, and there will be some polls next stream as well. I will try and get a bit more interactive. Let's just double check. We got the goat, check. We did the guinea pig at the start. And now we've got the jackalope, which is the rabbit, the reindeer, and the jackalope, which I'm going to be deep diving into the jackalope. Move all, yep, we are going to be taking a deep dive into jackalope mythology and everything at the end, and just continuously dive. That's going to be the rest of my day. I'm going to be researching jackalopes and all the different mythology. But for Fortnite, I updated it in a couple, well, I downloaded the game and updated it in a couple of hours, and that's purely for some of the Lego stuff because it's only a month-long season. I don't know if I will be playing it as much. I haven't bought the Battle Pass this season. I've bought the Battle Pass for the last however many seasons. I think I can go a month without, but I guess if I level up enough and I play this season as much as last season, I probably will end up buying the Battle Pass purely for Meowdus. As soon as I saw the trailer, I called it. For any of you that don't play Fortnite, which I think there is a big overlap between Fortnite's sort of the new Minecraft. Well, there's probably a newer one that I'm not aware of, but it feels like the new Minecraft, and it is it's a good game in terms of like the Lego side of it, which is really like Minecraft. It is Lego Minecraft. It's so fun to play, but I think so I don't know how to break down Fortnite Chapter 2 history very quickly. I don't really remember much from when I was playing it. It's a long time ago, but there was a character called Midas. Like the mythology, Midas, a bit like the Jackalope's going to be a real creature now, and I'm going to keep pairing it with mythology and just research it afterwards to find out it is a real creature. But kind of like the mythological Midas, everything they touch turned to gold. That's my understanding of it. And there's another character called Meowsicles. Well, there's a few different skins, all cat themed around meow being, you know, what a cat makes. And they combine the two of them and name the character Meowdus, which I called as soon as I saw it on the trailer. And that's the top level skin. And it is really, it's interesting that they've mixed up a few. I think we've got a few other characters and themed things as well. As I said, I haven't played it, but we've got like Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and a few others I don't remember, but it is a decent game. I mean, it doesn't compare to building Lego. Lego's still definitely a lot more fun, but I do like the Lego theme. Maybe we can do a Lego Fortnite stream at some point. That's quite... Chupacabra. Oh, there was... Now, Chupacabra I have heard of, but my mind straight away went to capybaras, and there was a... Do I have an image? There was a little... If you don't know what a capybara is, I will explain it roughly. It's same family of rodents as like rats, mice, well, to an extent, of course. And they've become more popular in the recent years. So you might have seen a capybara, knowing it or not. But we thought there were some capybaras. I cannot remember what they were actually called because it was quite a long name, and we at first thought their actual name was the Latin name. Turns out it wasn't the Latin name. The Latin name was even more complicated. The actual name just seemed like, oh, there you go. It seemed like, and there it is, that bundle of hay. I don't know why it's so large. Maybe I should resize my camera. I wonder what quality this is pumping out. I know it's not the best anyway, but as you can see, not the same enclosure. It might match up to the rabbits, but it's not the same enclosure as the rabbits. I cannot remember the name of this. I might have taken a photo, so if so, I will include it in the video, but it looks like a capybara. It is a rodent. It's a similar animal, kind of, I don't know, similar animal to the capybara, to, you know, rats, mice, and other popular rodents. I think that's all the popular rodents. I can't think of any, but it looked like a capybara. I thought I'd just show it off on the stream. And yeah, we won't be building it in this video. Maybe I could build another. Should I build? Nah, maybe I won't build another. We'll keep to the 5 animals, including the jackalope, which still I'm very interested in. But as you can see with the rabbit, what I've done is added some hinges onto the top now, which does mean the slopes can no longer fit on. So I'll be replacing the 2x3 slopes with some... Now, we could do it a few different ways. What I might do is add some 2x2 curved slopes curved slopes. And then we've got a 2x2 tile in here as well. Because what we can do with these is, because we can't fit a plate underneath them, so there's no way to attach the 2x4 tile, what we can do is grab one of the best round Lego elements ever made, this underside tile. Because what this should allow is, you're not allowed, well, we can't legally put tiles on here without stressing any Lego, because at the sides it comes up. Well, at the sides of this rounded piece here, it also slopes up because it's got a rounded bottom. Not just good on the bottoms of ships and vehicles, but also good the inside of Mox. And I'll show this off closer in the video, but we will be able, hopefully, haven't tested this out before, to clip it on top, have a nice rounded off top, even more rounded, you know, than when we use the slopes. And as you can see from the back, the triangle slopes are making it just a little fluff ball like this rabbit is. As you can see, it is not perfectly rounded. We've got a few right angles here, but it's pretty good for a small model. So for the head of this rabbit, we're going to have some ears. Well, we can take these pieces we've now got spare from the back of the model. Yeah, it's not always easy building with Lego because sometimes it doesn't line up perfectly, but we'll get there in the end. I think we could use these as the ears because they have that slope to them that looks like bunny ears. So we're going to need 2 of these snot bricks, and the ears are coming out of the top of the head. So we will get a 1x2 slope, hopefully in black. I don't know where all my black, grey and white slopes have gone, but we'll work on that in just a second. I think that can go straight on top. That's about where a bunny's ears could be, because then they're sticking out the top and they're also at the front. So as we can't find a slope, we can grab a 1x2. I don't have any 1x2 slopes because they're all on my mural. You know what? I think for the sake of this video, I can pinch 2 pieces from the mural and add them to the top. And what this is going to do is give them that nice, about the Mexican there for the liver dog. Yeah, it would be interesting now that I've done a stream building animals, perhaps in like a year's time or something, we can build mythological animals, because these are, I mean, the rabbit's getting a bit more complicated. I guess the goat is a bit more complicated as well, but I mean, the guinea pig is just, you know, 2x bricks stacked on top of each other, and that took about a quarter of the stream. The goat did take about an hour, and I will be wrapping this up. Not soon, but you know, eventually I do have to end the stream at some point. But oh, that's not a look. That's not a good look for the rabbit. Oh, no. But with yeah, at some point I'd love to do a stream dedicated to just a ton of mythological animals and building, you know, really anything from jackalopes to chupacabras to dragons, I guess. There's definitely an argument if dragons are mythological creatures, but I think they would count. And this I guess we've got some rabbit. Oh, we could put a 2x4 on the side because rabbits have quite some chubby bunnies, isn't it? When you play with marshmallows and you puff out your cheeks, you say chubby bunnies because rabbits have nice, not chubby cheeks, but they do have nice rounded cheeks. So that would, oh, and Mothman and other, yeah, we could build the abominable snowman. We could build Bigfoot and build a ton of other, the Loch Ness monster. I had an ideas. I know I don't really do much on ideas, but I had an ideas project lined up once my hand was done, and I didn't realize actually that when my hand hit the first milestone, that would be active for another like year afterwards. So that is still up on Lego Ideas. You can check that out through the link tree in my bio. But once that was up, I was going to do a I was going to do a Loch Ness monster, but one that like come out of the desk and then would disappear and then come back out of the desk. I thought that would be an awesome Lego set. So definitely keep your eye out for that in the future. I quite like how this turned out. I don't know about the head of it. It's definitely interesting, but I do quite like it still. Even with the head, it does look, maybe we need a nose as well. Maybe we should build this out. Rather than a 2x4, I wonder where my tub went. I wonder if we used a 2x3, if that would make it look any better, because then we're just building it out towards the front anyway. This is just almost a carpet. If the rabbit was any flatter, it would be a carpet. No, this looks creepy now. I'm not quite sure about this. It is interesting trying to fit. I think for the sake of the video, we use a 2x4. We'll keep it in mind. Let's build the reindeer so that we can build the jackalope. Awesome creature, a jackalope. And then we'll come back and maybe update the head when we build the jackalope. So with the reindeer, we've already got a baby reindeer in a poly bag that Lego released this year. And you haven't seen this. Members saw this ages ago. Members probably saw this about a month ago on the community tab. If you remember at that point, Cerberus would be really cool. And it comes with a little reindeer, but this reindeer is way too small. It's sort of like one of the baby reindeers that we saw, and I've just realized that's where my green clip elements have gone. I was looking for them the other day. And speaking of griffins, never too old for Lego, I don't know if you've seen it. I'm not bringing out the set. This is just a little griffin that Lego have made for the Harry Potter line, which I think is really, really cool, putting the eagle head on the horse body, which I believe is the premise of a griffin, but there's an actual set that's not too good, but it's a solid base for a griffin build. So taking something like that and making it, like an 18+ style griffin is a really, really good idea. It's something I've got my eyes on for one of the creator animal sets for later on this year. There's a certain movie coming out, and hopefully if I can pick it up on sale, I might be able to do something with it. But we got the base reindeer. We steal in like the arms and legs from it. We'll build this a little chunkier. We'll build this probably a 4x structure rather than... Reindeers do have quite rounded bodies, so maybe rather than a solid 4x, we can build it a little rounded, something like this. But either way, I got the perfect parts for the legs, because these pieces exist, which are like Lego log bits, and I guess they only work really well as 2 legs. But at the bottom, reindeers have sort of 3, 4, 5, I think they have 4 toes that spread out, and they act as sort of snow boots. When you're walking with skis, or you get like the snow flippers. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but you can get them, and that's what reindeers' feet almost look exactly like, to be fair. And they spread out so they can not fall through the snow. The more surface area you've got, the less likely you are to fall through the snow. So I'm gonna have to find one more of these, but hopefully we can build it out and make it a little wider than the other animals, and just beef it out a little bit, really. I'm not sure if I've got... I think that's the same color. The hardest part about working with these is there are light reddish brown, dark reddish brown. They're not actually called light and dark, but there are a few different colors. And I think because of how reindeer's legs work, it looks like a table at the minute, but I think it will work once we beef it out, maybe even add a few slopes around the outside. And a towel. We do need... Do reindeers have towels? I think they have a little fluffy towel. I can see the camera's acting up, so we'll freeze that balance, and then we'll finish up on the reindeer. By no means we're going to rush this. I'm going to take my time, but we'll build our quite a pronounced neck, I think, for this one, and then get some slopes on it. Get some details again with a fluffy towel. Let me get an image of a reindeer. We should have one, and then that might be a bit better instead of trying to build this from memory, because who knows how this is going to look from memory. All right, here we go. This is a lovely image of them. We forgot to build a fence for the goat. I'm just remembering this, but because we are running up towards the end of the stream, I'll have it done for the video so we can recreate a few of these images, and I might even use it in an image with the reindeers. Be pretty interesting. Hopefully this doesn't blow up the image and we get it a reasonable size. Lovely jubbly. All right, here's the reindeers that we took. You can see the Mao, which is the one standing on the right hand side, or on the left as they are standing closer. The one right this side of the image does have massive antlers, and they are meant to be falling off soon, but this year, end of last year, it actually held on to them through the end of January, which is really interesting. That's what I was talking about later. So You can see the moderator Taylor has put the Lego Ideas link in the chat. So thank you very much for that. It's interesting. Great Snow Blizzard just left the chat. It's interesting how Lego has 3 types of brown colors: brown, reddish brown, and dark brown. Yeah, brown. So brown, I believe, is the brittle brown. I don't think I've had any problems with reddish brown. I've had problems with dark red. But brown was known as the brittle brown throughout like the early 2000s because stuff like the old Jabba Salbarge, you don't want to pick up used or even new because there's a chance of the colors they mixed. Any of the browns, the reddish browns, didn't see a problem with the red. So it's mostly the browns would crack. And then you also have dark brown. I don't think I own any of the old brown. I might have to try and order an old brown piece. But the difference between brown and dark brown might come across better on camera. You can see it's quite close. But when you're looking in a drawer that's not very well lit, and especially late at night or something, and you're trying to use a torch to find the one piece you need, it's easy to make the mistake. The hardest ones, you've got a few different shades of blue, a few different shades of green that are a bit awkward to try and look through. But the hardest ones, I think it's like there's sand green and there's an olive green, something like that. And I just cannot tell them apart whatsoever. I don't know what it is about them. I just really struggle to distinguish the two of them in any way at all. Now I realize I'm building the reindeers out of brown pieces. They're a bit lighter than that, but I don't fancy using white or tan because of the goat and the guinea pig. So I guess we're sticking with the colors of the Lego version, just making it a little bit bigger, and we don't get a good look of behind. So I'm going to add this little tail to the back of my reindeer here. And the big thing for this is taking those antlers and making the infamous jackalope, which I am quite excited to put together, if I'm honest, which didn't know about it before this stream, but now we're not wrapping it up until I see a jackalope in front of me. Not a real one, a Lego build, but we'll be streaming a long time. But let's get a head on this, some antlers, and the head of a reindeer is pretty hard to build. I guess we're going with the Lego one and just giving it a big old nose at the end of the snout, and then we'll put the antlers onto the rabbit. So let's get some more brown. I thought I was out of brown bricks for a second. There's like 6 rows of 6 still in the drop. But I think I've spoken about everything I wanted to in this stream. So we'll head back to the Marvel sets. For the Marvel sets, hopefully we get a few more sets announced for December the 1st. I'm expecting to see a ton of Christmas gift with purchases, as there is almost every year. Not quite every year, but almost every year. And it'll be interesting to see what the promos actually are this year, because I feel like last year we got the return of a train. We got a train polybag, I think it was. This year's polybag is that the Santa sleigh. And again, the only reason I have so many of these round reindeer noses, I know there were no ruby noses on the reindeers in the image, but when you're building a reindeer, you've got to give it a bright red nose. I guess this one is Rudolph. And yeah, I don't know. Most of the sets coming out are going to be January sets now, so I think it's November 4th, give it about a week. If we don't see any other sets, I don't think we'll be expecting any. I don't remember any big sets last year, at least. It's interesting, Marvel have tried to come out with their sets early. I wonder how that will pay off for them. If it will pay off for them, maybe it won't pay off for them and it will be a one-off sort of thing. So here we go. We've got some dark brown slope pieces, 1x2 slopes I'm going to use as the ears. And it is quite a simple build. These animals are quite simple, but the whole point of this week was just to build something, have great relax, and just to talk again with all of you, which is really fun to do on a Monday morning. It makes the workday a lot easier for me, that is for sure. Though I probably could have picked something a bit easier than animals to build on a live stream, if I'm completely honest. But as I said, next year we will start work on the Minecraft, or we'll restart work on the Minecraft display, which is going to be a lot more harder work than this, a lot more detail as well than some of these builds, but we really need a tool slope for this. And my tool slopes really aren't organized whatsoever. You can see where I've taken out all my other drawers, they've just fallen forward and made a mess of this. So clean up today is not going to be as good as it was last week or the week before, but that's the whole fun of building some of these creatures. We make a little mess, make a few interesting builds, and then I think I've built the neck a bit too chunky here. I think it holds up for what it's meant to, but I definitely might revisit a few of these and try to improve. So for the antlers, I think the antlers, I don't know if we want them leaning back or forwards. Let's get some studs for the eyes, because that's what we've used for the other animals here. We're trying to keep them looking a little similar. We don't want them looking too different to each other, but let's get, I think for antlers, the easiest thing to do would be bar elements and try and have them coming off each other. Now I have a ton of 3-length bars, so this is going to be quite simple to do. And I think the best connection for making antlers in Lego is actually to use some 1x2 rounded off plates, which again I do have in that brown color. I think all my gray ones are still over in the Fortnite mock. I haven't quite broken down the other side, but the hardest part is going to be trying to get the angles of the antlers, because it's all good trying to position them. It's going to be interesting, but we'll give it a shot and see what we can get done. We could use some snot bricks for it. We could use some clips. We could use some Lego lightsaber hilts, which also come in brown. Really handy. And whilst I'm figuring this out, I think it's been a while since we've had an ad, so I'll send a few of you into an ad. Apologies for that, but the viewership, so for the total stream, it's peaked a bit. I think we're looking at maximum, we've had 8 viewers at once, which is really cool. I think that's on par with the last 2, but we're looking at a total of 26 views. So thank you to everyone that has chimed in throughout this stream. And then what we can do with these elements is have them, we really need some shorter bar elements. We need like a one length bar element. I guess that could be stuck in a few different places, but it would be interesting to see what Lego do. Either way, I think starting off with the 3-length bar was the main issue. And I think I do have a few 6-length bars, but I don't know exactly how that's going to look if I start using a ton of them. So we could transition to plates. We could have a few different plates. So with these 2 bars, there we go. Something like that, because they do have quite big antlers. And then we can cap it off with something like this on the end. And again, doesn't look perfect. We probably should add a few more. Tell you what, we could grab like an arm or a clip or something. Don't have, we can grab these arms here and perhaps build out the lower portion. There we go. Okay, now we're looking more like antlers. These are going to look crazy on the rabbit, that's for sure. But we've got a 4-length bar. We've got a brown lightsaber hilt. Sorry, we've got 2 brown lightsaber hilts. So I need to grab another one of those. And we've got a mechanical droid arm. We've got a few plates here and there. It's fun to whack a bunch of pieces away before you finish using them. A bunch of pieces together and just see where you can go. And that was the idea of the stream. Hopefully you're having as much fun as I am. I know a load of people watch this whilst getting some work done, and perhaps at work, at school, at various different places. I hope you're having fun nonetheless. And this should be the completed reindeer. Right, it looks a bit better in person than it does on the stream, I do have to admit. But now, for the finale of the stream, we're running up to about 2.5 hours. I think I can see how long this has been going for. No, maybe I can't. Oh, there was a timer somewhere. Either way. Oh, there we go. 2 hours, 31 minutes. We're just over the 2.5 hour mark, but we're not done yet. We've got to make the jackalope, was it? The jackalope with the rabbit with the antlers. And I didn't think this through because I did. This is going to turn out even better because what we can do is use, oh, we really need them on the other side. All right, what we can do is we're going to need some brackets. Let me get some brackets. I will add another. I know it's only been a couple minutes since we had an ad, but I'll add another ad and try to find some brown brackets. That was easy. All right. Now for the finale, we will be turning our reindeer and rabbit into a jackal, a mythological creature. The antlers are kind of coming out the top of this rabbit's ears, which I don't really know that's how that works. I think it comes out the top of the head, but here we have this rabbit's head is absolutely terrifying. If this is a horror game, jackalope. Jackal's a whole new creature. As you can see, we have the antlers coming out. It's almost like a satellite dish. All right, let me give you a closer look at this rabbit. You've got to see how cursed this rabbit looks. All right, so we can get rid of this image, and then I don't know if I'll be able to autofocus. There we go. Look at that face for the rabbit. That is something. It's something for sure. Get rid of that. But you can see how the antlers look on the top of this rabbit, and it's definitely more satellite look than antlers. Actually, I've got them around the wrong way on the rabbit, but hopefully you had fun during this stream. I will wrap it up in just a minute, but I'll keep the chat going for a little afterwards as well, so you can all get your goodbyes in. There will be a video tomorrow going over these animals and more so my trip to the zoo, because I think these animals aren't the best thing I've made on the channel, but they're definitely one of the funnest. I will keep the antlers on here whilst I look for the, maybe we can flip these around and get them the right way around at least, whilst I look over the jackalope, because again, never heard of that before. So thank you for enlightening me into this stream, and thank you to both of you, Never Too Old for Lego, and to the Great Snow Blizzard for giving these ideas of the goat, of the rabbit, of the reindeer, even if technically this was the jackal. And I guess thanks to myself for the idea of the guinea pig. Good night if you are going to sleep. Good morning if you are starting your day. And thank you so much for watching. May the bricks be with you always. Hopefully next week, camera quality, you know, we can hit the next steps. And like I said, we will be working on the Minecraft world. So stay tuned for that. Videos every single day in between. I honestly do not know how I keep that up. But thank you for tuning in live, everyone here in the stream. If you're watching it again on demand, be sure to drop it a like so it gets pushed out to everyone else and everyone can enjoy these cursed animal builds. I hope you have an awesome week. Until next week, I hope to see you there. Have fun. Lovely jubbly.